Love is magic. Metaverse is amazing.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the America's Elite League. We're ready once again and for real this time for another day of action here for the America's Elite League. Day 7 as we're going to get right into the action for our last 2 days of play of the competition. Imperium is in fact done speedrunning and I am done doing the intro right now. My name is Maxman, going to be joined with Imperium once again to bring you the action for day 7. Imperium, you told me you were feeling good. Are you still feeling good? You got that coffee made you feel real fast there.
That was Speedy Gonzalez level of speed right there. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I'm feeling so much more energized tonight, not gonna lie. Got myself a good sleep, had a nice day of relaxation, and now I'm ready for another amazing day of the America's Elite League with, of course, yourself.
Is that a good thing or bad thing? Who knows? Who knows? Depends on your point of view. We'll see, but definitely that caffeine hit, we felt it, and you know what? I felt it too, despite me only being there and seeing you. Maybe I'll get myself a coffee, even though I don't like coffee. I still have the taste of a 5-year-old. But one thing I can tell you for sure, if you're watching the stream today, you definitely do not have bad taste, because we're going to have some of the best action NA and SA PUBG Mobile has to offer in the esports scene. And in particular, Imperium, we have some teams that have started a very slow rise to the top in the last few days. Our big question as of today and also tomorrow is going to be, of course, can they continue their ascent to hopefully make their way into the top 5, even hopefully top 3 at the very end?
Obviously, there's a big gap overall, what feels like kind of top 4, kind of top 5,
top 3,
where we see a big gap, but the top 3 is really where we're looking at, right? We'll go through the overall standings, but what I want to see between obviously the final 2 days is teams being aware that this is a great opportunity. Influence Rage, Vivo Key, Alpha 7, and of course even Nova. This is a really amazing opportunity to really practice and put yourself as a team in the mindset for where it matters. Of that kind of like pressurized moment of you need every single good game that you can get to continue to stay up there. Because when we look at the later on stages of 2022, the PMPLs, the PMPL full split, the PMGCs, you know, a big part of why we see teams succeed is the mentality aspect, right? They're not bowing under pressure. And if the likes of these 3 teams I just mentioned are able to, or the 4 teams I just mentioned are able to use this kind of situation that arguably isn't as pressurized, but to make it as pressurized for themselves, and they're able to learn from it, get better, and then be able to handle it later on in the future, that's a big plus. That's a big win. So I'm looking for a lot from these teams today. I want 0 mistakes from the top 4.
Oh wow, oh wow, okay. I feel like a kid, and his dad just said, be careful, if you don't get over like an 8 out of 10 on your next exam, you're in trouble, big man. And yeah. I feel the pressure right now. I feel like the belt is coming my way, Imperium, so please keep the belt on. We do not want to see it coming our way. Let's go though, looking at the overall rankings, and as you mentioned, Imperium, our top 5 are looking head and heels above the rest. Is that the sentence? I'm not sure. Did I use it right? Maybe not. Not too sure.
Head and shoulders.
Head and shoulders. There you go. Head and shoulders above the rest. Thank you, Imperium. Always there to save me in the moments of need. But yeah, Rise currently serving as that limit for the top 5 was 243 points, and then right below them, well, I say right below them, quite a way below them is going to be INCO Gaming was 184. So you're looking at about a 60-point difference between 5th and 6th, which is at this stage of the tournament, for the amount of games that have been played, which are currently, if I'm not mistaken, 24 so far in total, a 60-point lead between 5th and 6th is absolutely astronomical. One lead I think I've never seen that low in the rankings after this amount of games, so very, very impressive from our top 5 here.
Yeah, top 5 have over 10 points per game. Rise 10.13, Influence Rage 12.71 over 24 games. That's a really strong average. Of course, as you look at the bottom of the standings, or you know, the likes of Delta Stars, Furious Gaming, Lotus Esports are chosen, there's reasons why they're there, and therefore technically it means there's reasons why the likes of Influence Rage, Vivo Key, and Alpha 7 have such high average points per game. But it doesn't really take away from the job that those 5 teams have done every single game, every single day. And I know yesterday we highlighted massively over the consistency of Influence Rage from day to day. The difference between their worst day and their best day is really little to nothing. It's so good how consistent they've been.
Yeah, it's been really, really impressive. And actually, not yesterday, then down to the last real day of play that we had in the Americas Elite League here.
Yeah.
One team that definitely did step up, even though they had already some good results. They were able to remain and float around that 4th, 5th position pretty consistently throughout the tournament. For me, Imperium, that was finally the domination of an NA team in the name of Nova Esport. Got himself that really good chicken dinner you're going to see the replay of right now, where they were willing to take that control. Once there was one of the teams eliminated, that 3-man kind of Mexican standoff ended, and they instantly went for the push to make sure Vivo Key did not have the opportunity to go for the res, and then they just pushed it, got that chicken dinner, and we saw more presence from the team in general, if that's the word I want to go for, in the sense that they are not scared to back down from a fight. I think they've just won confidence over time throughout this tournament, and I think that now they're almost at their peak. I don't want to say at their peak because there's always some room to improve and work on, right? But in the sense of Nova, I see that true evolution, that real curve, exponentially improving throughout the tournament. I want to see them play on that kind of level right now, and of course, Koi going for the heal off at the end of that game, which was, he had what, like 35 first aid? Like, it was a great strat to go for.
Yeah. It was overall. Another team that really stepped up in yesterday's, or should I say the last play day set of games, was XSET. They went from 15th to 10th. They gained 51 points in 4 games. That's a really solid average, and we saw them show a lot more aggression, a lot more kind of consistency from game to game, and they got into a good bit of a roll. So you know, they overtook LAZARUS. They're the second best North American team so far in this tournament, can they break into the top 7, top 6?
Yeah, that's going to be the hope. I mean, we don't even mention top 5 because we know that gap is just way too big at the stage of the tournament.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a chance, you know, there's a chance to potentially catch up to top 5, but that's going to require not only to have a good day today, it's going to require to also have a good day in day 8. So you're going to have to need 2 absolutely amazing 2-day performances back to back, which is hard to do if you're not in the top 5 right now. We have not seen extreme consistencies from Team from 6 and down below. Of course, some great moments of greatness, but otherwise some up and downs like anyone else in the lobby. Though, of course, if you do watch the America's Elite League for the very first time today already, welcome. Thank you so much for spending your time of this Sunday with us now. As this is how the tournament works down. Every single one of our teams are divided in 5 groups, and every group is going to be having 4 teams. And every single game, that means that we're going to have one team playing out. So for the first game, that is Group A. That means Honored Souls, Alpha 7, ESTORM, and The Chosen will not be participating. They have a little bit more of a lion. Well, I don't know. I mean, probably, you know, an SANA, a little bit of a lion. They would wake up at what, like 6, 7, 8 p.m., which is like game hours. You know, that's when you wake up. You know, rise and shine. That's when game hours start. That's how it goes, right?
That's the stereotype. Normal peasant people's dinner time is gamers' breakfast time, right? That's the way it works. That is 100%.
If you're not gaming, you're peasant. Okay, quote.
Well, I could be worse than saying muggle, you know. Also, we do have the whole thing of no more Sandhawks in the AEL. It's all Miramar and Wrangle this from today onwards, per se. I don't think it really matters overall. Yes, it's good to have kind of the RNG aspect of Sandhawks out of the way, but I don't think teams are playing like any real less aggressive in Miramar and Wrangle. Like, we've seen plenty of hot drops in Miramar between Monte Nuevo, between Minas Generalis, right? So, you know, I still think we're going to have that consistent action, that consistent aggression from all these teams, just only in the desert, only in the greeny pastures of Wrangle.
Yeah, that's the sad part that you said no more Sandhawks are going to be coming. That means no more boot camp, no more XSET versus Alpha 7. So I will shed a tear in due time for that fight not happening again for this season. But maybe season 4. We'll see if it comes back, though. Imperium, we are ready to get into the thick of the action. Once again, we're going to have that caffeine hit. Once more, we're going to get pumped up. We're going to get ready. But hopefully the players are even more ready than myself and Imperium, because we're going to have some great action happening on the battlegrounds today, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, compared to the last season of America's Elite League, this is now twice as high a prize pool, $10,000 US. If you arrive in first, you get $1,400. If you get yourself in second, it's going to be $900. And then other than that, well, second and third, you're going to get $900. And $400 for every single team. So even just purely for participating, you get 400 buckaroos, which is, not gonna lie, not a lot of tournaments have that good consolation prize. So for that alone, respect America's Elite League. That is a very decent prize pool distribution for the teams to get some juicy money, which we will like.
Hey, look, money makes the world go round, I suppose. So we will take that right to the bank, just like this plane path will be taken right to the bank for most of these players. Yes, it's a little bit up north, but a slight diagonal viewpoint from the east over to the slight northwest, I don't think is definitely a bad thing at all. Gonna see ATON 7 dropping around the built a power area for the time being. We're gonna have, I believe that's Team QUESO and Lipovka, but they're gonna have to be careful with LAZARUS close by. And yeah, other than that, Jesus, everybody just seems to be going pretty overall pretty comfortably inside this starting point of Wrangle.
Yeah, pretty chill start. A little bit of a more northern plane path if you are a team that likes to rotate and drop to the west. Other than that, this phase 1 circle is going to be definitely leaning into this plane path, making it very easy for teams to play around it, rotate in, hopefully no early encounters. I say that LAZARUS unfortunately did not get the memo. Fizz is going to be instantly popped down onto his knees and instantly sent straight back to the lobby. So very short game 1. I'm seeing we only have 60 players alive, and I do not believe we had more than that 1 elimination happening early on. So we might have a few teams spawned in as 3 players, which is very unfortunate, but we've seen it a few times here and there throughout the tournament. So hopefully teams can try and work around that.
Phase 1's popped up. It's not too bad. A little bit to the west, of course. Having that river right split in the middle means that there's an uncertainty. Is it north of the river or south of the river? Everest is a good starting point in terms of going for a position or looting phase. The cube compound outside of George Paul as well. That's some nice shots from Koi.
Oh my god. Oh man, my boy Nicolas sweating bullets. I mean, even more. Okay, now he's actually receiving bullets. I think that was not how the expression was supposed to go, Zifan, but you know what? I respect the attempt. So I think he knows that that player's now looted up for himself a weapon, so maybe not worth taking a fight when your team is not there. You can take it from a distance, though. Or the PP Bison not able to really get any kind of damage out there, but Nova being Nova, are they going to decide to chase down Martin? I think there's a big chance of that happening. Zifan was a supercar, might try and pick up his teammate. No, they give it up. Good on Nova.
Yeah, it's not worth really chasing, in my opinion, overall. You can see, by the way, right now 3 teams did spawn in with only 3 players.
Koi,
no, I don't think they did. Is Koi actually chasing it? Jesus, okay.
I think he should give up.
Okay. Mufasa from Rise, you can see in the elimination feed, I think, in some way, shape, or form, got himself blown up. I think BULUC, who dropped in Rozhok or have a bit of a Rozhok split, I believe might have blown up the vehicle from Mufasa, I think.
I mean, Mufasa in the elimination feed at least showed himself as jumping out of his vehicle a little bit too early and knocking himself out, so not the coolest way to go. You want to find a few ways to go, you've got to watch Die Hard. I think those movies will give a good idea of how to do that well.
Have you actually watched the Die Hard movies?
Okay, so you got to know one thing. Okay, my dad absolutely loved action movies like Die Hard, James Bond, other action movies, because I'm not a huge fan of them, so I forget the names. But he made me watch quite a few. So yeah,
that's not
my dad is a man of culture.
Have watched Die Hard?
Yes. He was like, oh, you want to watch Die Hard?
So tell me this:
like,
is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
I mean, no, it's an action movie. What do you mean? What do you mean it's Christmas?
It's a Christmas movie. It's a Christmas movie.
What? What?
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Why the hell is that a Christmas movie?
Because it's filmed around Christmas time. Like, that's the theme of the film. Not the theme, but that's when, you know, he's coming out of the airport, or he's arriving where he is. It's around Christmas time. And yeah, it's a Christmas movie.
I don't know. I think like Christmas movies, at least the ones that I remember, are the ones where, you know, you got, there's someone that usually works in the city and they're a little bit burnt out, so they go back to their parents and their family and friends back in the little town. You know, it's all snowing. It's got a nice little audience over there, actually trying to help them build the local business up, which is normally based around, like, you know, cutting down trees for Christmas or creating decoration. And they have a competition on TV, and, you know, and they win it at the end. And then she has a love interest, and they fight in the middle of the movie, and then they get together at the end of the movie. And then she says, "Oh no, I don't want to go back to the city anymore. I love it here too much." And then she stays. Like, that's like the premise of a Christmas movie. And I think that I just described maybe 90% of the story of Christmas movies in like a few words there. Come on, like, you watched one like that.
If you eliminate the Christmas factor, that's basically all rom-coms, right? That's all romantic comedies in a nutshell as well. So you take away the snow, there you go. But yeah, no, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. But either way, getting back into this game, 58 players alive, teams starting to kind of rotate away from their drop spot fairly soon. I noticed Lotus going to North Georgia's good adaptation coming out from them. Nobody went to Severny. The good chunk of the northern side of the river, it was unoccupied. That always tends to be the case. So I'm looking to see who's going to rotate fairly early onto the northern side of the river and get a bit of a stranglehold point, because there's that one like compound that's like just underneath the G of shooting range on the map, where you don't actually need to hold on to the compound. You actually have a 2-2 split either side of that compound on the hill above, and you have such good control around you, and you're able to get information. So I reckon if Lotus go there, you're in for a great spot in phase 1.
Yeah. I don't really like that position, but I understand the value of it, as you say, but it's just because I'm very complicated with the compounds I like and the positions I like to play, so yeah. But otherwise, in a competitive environment, you don't really have a choice, so you better just go there if you want. Otherwise, Cube, you mentioned it earlier, right? Imperium Cube could be a very good option. I'm surprised that throughout this tournament, I have not seen a very big focus on Cube. Teams tend to play around Cube, like they orbit around Cube, but not Cube itself, which is very surprising. I would like to see a little bit more Cube play, if possible. I think that would put definitely a smile on my face. So we'll see. Maybe INTZ is going to be the one to try and give it a shot. Maybe it's going to be also LOTUS that we still want to see a very big step up. We saw, you know, a few little things in there on the last day of play. Not really anything chicken dinner worthy or top 3 worthy, but there were some moments where like, oh, they do have some fight in them, and I want to see that a little bit more. But as a team, I want to see more synergy. I want to see more team play. But they are a team that dropped North George / even go into Zaki to loot. So I think that there's a very easy description of a team that does not like to play aggressively. They're talking about aggression. It's INCO versus Team QUESO. Team QUESO looking on a little bit of a disadvantage in terms of terrain, but the off angle of Bye is going to be critical to the win of that fight. Ayala now looking for the position, trying to get some intel, going to smoke his way back. While INCO Gaming trying to really focus on that high ground position. They're pushing up, and up. While the flush comes out from Ayala. And up. That's it. That's their first elimination. And up. And up and up.
And up.
Okay, I said it cool. A lot there.
Like I don't know why we're seeing a fight on Stolbar. Yeah. Like this. I get that both of these teams kind of dropped on the eastern side of the map. One problem INCO seem to have is sticking together or not sticking together. We see them, whether it's rotation or positioningly, they just have a bit of an issue with sticking together. But phase 2 pops up, it goes down south. What are you laughing at?
Yeah. They got to work on their sticking togetherness, you know. It's their positional position.
I think I made up another new word by saying positioningly. I don't even think that's a word as well. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm Irish. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, it's just in France, that's what we would call faire du meublage, which is basically putting your furniture everywhere and just filling up the gaps so it looks nice and cozy.
Wait,
so
what's the word? What's the word?
Meublage is like a verb, is meubler, like je meuble. I am putting furniture, like I'm decorating, basically. It's a French thing. So yeah, sponsored by IKEA, by the way. Just saying.
Meublage. Okay, cool.
Meublage.
Cool. Meublage. Oui.
Okay, there you go. We'll see. Moving on. Man, we go off topic so often in these early games. I swear. I swear. Right. Hey, we're gonna have to do a lot of putting down furniture a lot throughout today's broadcast because we have no Sanok. We're gonna have some long Miramar, some long Wrangle. So we're gonna chill. Okay, we're gonna have some fun, and we'll get into the nitty gritty as the action arises throughout the day. Also, quick important mention for everyone at home right now that is currently watching the stream. For yesterday's broadcast, it was completely cancelled. So no games are happening in the background, so you did not miss anything. That day, which was day 7, has been moved to today instead. So haven't missed out on any of the action. So teams are still going to be having the exact same position they had last time you saw them actually play. And that means day 8, the last day of the Americas Elite League, is going to be moved to tomorrow. We'll have a little bit more of an in-depth announcement about that at the end of the broadcast. But just to make sure that tomorrow, you might want to make sure you have your schedule absolutely free for that.
Lovely shots by Influence Rage as they hold on to a bit of a solid 4-man split in the northwestern side of the circle. It is north of the river, but that's why it's so important that they are proactive in this position of the map, in this part of the map, because they're pretty sure they're going to have to move away. So the more space they can create by being proactive, the easier it's going to be for them to move away without losing anybody off the back of it. So good play from Influence Rage. Looking at the position of a couple of other teams as well, it's a pretty bold 1-1 split from Rise. I don't disagree with it, but it's just a pretty bold split. I love where Gary X is heading towards as well. It's on the higher part of the hill. It's one of the little kind of, I don't know if it's a shack, but it's a great hanging on point with the rest of his team, and it will allow them to play quite nicely in towards this phase 3. So good stuff from Rise.
Yeah, that was actually the exact position I wanted to mention, so I'm really happy you brought it up, Imperium, for Rise. It is a little overconfident, but seeing how they've been playing so far in the lobby, they're mentioned as one of the most aggressive teams in the lobby right now, so far. So, and especially with Mythic,
yes.
And I believe he is currently still the top fragger of the tournament. I think he was like around, what was it, 40, 50 something. Well, I'll have to potentially ask for the stats page again, but they are definitely looking confident. So if it was any other team, I might be like, maybe not, but because it's Rise and they're really good on their individual prowess level, I am completely down with it. Though, this circle, I'm down for it. Oh, the team's down for it, though. That's a completely different question, because I do not think they are. They're looking at this Pachinki, they're looking at Pachinki Fields, they're looking at the even mini Pachinki up north. This is not a fun circle to play. If you've already played circles in this position, there's not a lot of great positions. And some teams are just going to be zooming on by because they know they need to have top 1 priority on some of these spots. So they're going to try and rush in, get some positions. XSET already looking pretty good on their position, but a lot of teams are orbiting around that spot. So they need to make sure that no teams are absolutely overstepping their boundaries in this position. Or loops, though.
That's what made Rise Esports split just so competent coming into circle shift. Yes, they didn't know it was gonna go down south, but having so many anchor points in play for however the circle went was just so comfortable and made things a lot easier for them. I also like the position that's been held down to, and you mentioned them already, XSET. They only joined this lobby as a 3-person team, so it was always going to be important that they held on to a good spot. They initially had 1 player down in the fields of Pachinki, but I think based on the circle shift, it makes sense for hold on all together.
Here we go, the sprays are starting to arise as VIVO keyed on the receiving end. Gonna try and stop these teams from rotating in. So Lotus going to be very, very respectful of this position. Going to be instantly going back into the Shadow Realm of Ruins. Just as a temporary location, though, they're going to be on the edge of the circle. They know that the next phase, phase 4, is not going to be to their advantage. Insto also having a fight of their own versus Delta Stars. Not known as the most aggressively compelling teams of the lobby, so maybe not the hardest fight INTZ has had to fight so far. So Utility, inbound from Delta Stars, could get himself a little bit of a good initiation, though. The nades not able to really connect on the target they were expecting. And now INTZ had full control, and Delta Stars just gave up that building for almost free Imperium. And now Mentals, that nade is looking amazing. That was an absolute bang-over nade right on the fraggers. Delta Stars just gave up. They didn't even try and take the fight. They were like, yeah, this is yours. We do not want to fight. Like, I felt they were French for a second there with a white flag, but they just left that position entirely. And now Snittos pushing inside and get himself the double frag, and that is it. That's the end for that start out in 16.
They didn't even disengage to a good position. They would have been better off defending that building that has multiple levels, multiple floors, and multiple coverings, whereas going behind a wall and inside a shack, that's like the easiest way to get engaged upon, right? That's it. You saw it right there. Beautiful nade, a second nade, a push through the shack. Job done onto Delta Stars by into next circle. Does pop up. It's gonna wonderfully go up north away from Pachinki. And one thing that I absolutely love about that previous circle shift, even though it was only phase 3, I love the fact that no team actually went into Pachinki. That really made me happy to see.
I think they saw the circle and they knew there was a very small chance of that happening. So the only positions in this type of circle that they were looking at that would be valid were Church of Pachinki, or the northern side of Pachinki, which is where currently Black Dragons are playing. So yeah, I agree. I'm happy to see that no teams are like, oh, let's go Pachinki. It was like very big amount of reasoning. So very smart decision from like 100% of the lobby. GG well play. Love to see that. Want to see more of it. Though, very good also from Rise. They were respectful of BULUC CHABTAN's push. They were not willing to defend that position up north of this compound. So they just gave it away. Rise pushed out. You can have 2 teams in this exact compound because of that road is very hard to cross. So typically you can have that symbiotic relationship between BULUC, CHABTAN and Rise. It's completely fine. But where the 2 other players of Rise are currently is Garrix and Mythic, they are in jeopardy right now. A lot of angles are going to be found by teams around them. It's really tough for Rise to move away from that position, especially if their buggy is destroyed, which I believe is the case. So Rise better hold on tight. This is not going to be an easy one to move out of. So ATON also going to be having their own fight versus Team QUESO, and Team QUESO Imperium are looking on fire this game. Loving.
They are, but I was questioning Rafina's position inside school, but he's made it count so much. Two knocks onto the Loops players makes it so much easier.
Woohoo! Choco, let's go. That's the hype train that's inbound. ATON are kicking off this game off the best way possible with those two eliminations. Though, unfortunately, they're indeed down to two players. It's Milos and Chukos, so when it comes to defending that position, it's not going to be too easy, but they're going to go for the push. They want the fight, and that's going to be Furious Gaming also jumping into position. Nice little spray onto the blue, maybe get himself some significant damage. One more bullet, that's all they need. Can they manage just to run to the windows? How does he survive that? He's playing mind games right now. There you go, the final bullet connects, but man, Tiger's in. That guy is really messing with the mind of ATON Esports there.
XSET looking to still hold on to the edge of the circle down by Potato Hill. Third party is fight between Lazarus and Lotus Esports. Something you love to see. Starlight gonna stay inside the house. Lotus Esports just has Blinky left standing, but he's gonna get taken down. That's gonna be the end of Lotus Esports.
Man, ATON just won a fight versus what? Team QUESO? I think it was ATON. Damn, these guys on fire this game. Love to see it. Team QUESO instantly going to be shut down and eliminated in what I think was 14th or 13th. So basically 0 placement point this time around, though we're slowly going to get to the point where placement points are going to be a little bit of the consolation prize for these teams. INTZ waiting in the shadows up northwest versus VIVO Kid, with VIVO Kid very, very split. Got to be careful, you're going to close that gap, especially for McGrellin, because if he takes that fight, he's going to suffer the wrath of 4 players of INTZ, and his team is just not in position to really assist it. And they're even getting pushed by the blue zone. So McGrellin, if I were him, just disengage. This is not a fight you want to take.
VIVO Kid have been in this position for quite a while. They've been hanging on to the edge of the circle inside this Headshot Hills, which I don't disagree with. INTZ haven't really pushed as aggressively as I would have wanted to see, but with this next circle shift, it's not too far that both VIVO Kid and INTZ have to go to enter into the edge of the circle. Nova are in the absolute dead center with INCO out on the southern side.
Hot damn, that's a Nova circle if I've ever seen one. Can they defend it? That is going to be the question mark of this game. They initiated the last day of play with the chicken dinner on the first game that was on Sanhok. Can they make themselves a back-to-back chicken dinner for the first game of each day? That would be a really good way to make a statement coming to today that they want to try and breach in that top 3, and this is definitely the type of results you want to make that happen. So INTZ, they're trying to make their rotation happen away from this edge of circle spot, but they're just getting gate-kept by Influence Rage, and Influence Rage, they are a relentless team, Imperium. Nades after nade after nade, keeping INTZ at arm's length. There you go, nice little spray on the side from Federal, and he does not overpeak. He instantly runs away when he does not have the HP to take that fight head on anymore. And they have the smokes. INTZ just denied all the information in the world. ATON going to be spotted away by Black Dragons. Black Dragon going to have to think of moving away from Pachinki itself, but VIVO Kid now gate kept out of this position by Nova Esports. Nova are going to get some real big damage, but INTZ, here you go. This is the final push. This is the final chance to make it away from this position. He gets one knock, but it's not going to go the entire way. Influence Rage dominate the northern engage.
And that wasn't even a full squad engagement as well. Keeping Kowalski on the edge of the circle outside of the fight was so good from Influence Rage. Unfortunately, as Kowalski moves in, he gets knocked by VIVO Kid. Black Dragons now on the southern edge of the circle by the roadside outside of Pachinki. They have INCO in front of them. A nade gets thrown up by Ragnar. All the while, he's also looking around him, making sure that he has all angles covered as much as possible.
We need to see Black Dragons try and make it over to that ridge line to actually start getting information. Without information, this entire circle is a death trap for them. Get information while waiting for phase 6 to pop up and before the blue zone pushes in, so you can make the best decision possible in this type of scenario, which unfortunately there aren't many good decisions to make, so you better be careful about what your next move is going to be. Otherwise, might just be a checkmate. Influence Rage, down to their last one, apparently moving away from the northern side. Revealed to be a very, very hard task at hand, and VIVO Kid are the ones that want to become the new king of the north. They shall be the ones to remain on the throne, and there you go. VIVO Kid eliminate the final player. Influence Rage will not go any further than 9th. Now only 8 teams remaining on this one, and phase 6 is about to show its ugly face. If it goes on to Nova again, well, this is Circle Luck 101.
And when you look at the fact that those two teams were fighting in the leaderboard, it's so important that VIVO Kid took down Influence Rage.
Love those nades from Mythic. Once again, this guy is showing why he is the top fragger of the Americas Elite League Season 3 so far. And he's going to try and maybe even beat a record. We'll see how things are going to pan out for him. Circle back onto Nova. Team's going to have to start pushing him very soon, Imperium.
This is so good from Rise. That's what the split allowed them to get off earlier on. That's why having Rafina and around the school area was so important. They pushed Loops back. And although Loops are on the top of the hillside, they're not inside the circle either. They have a team breathing down on them on the southern side. Black Dragons gonna be there by the roadside waiting in the wings. However, they're taking their own fight against INCO Gaming. 7 teams that are left up. Nova, they have the full advantage.
Okay, let's get it. The pushes are happening. The breaches are going down currently, and that's going to be Rise. They're looking for the engage while keeping one player on the backside to serve as a little bit of a backline support. Love to see this kind of plays. Toycore going to go too far back, otherwise his head would have been blown right off, but there's still a chance. Rafina waiting for the opportunity to get that easy headshot to connect. Well, that's it. The push was happening. Vivo Kid looking for the opportunity to get that compound under control and snatch it away from Nova. Nova, though, holding strong. That's down to 3 players. Kindness, Zifan, and Koi. These guys have made a name for themselves in this tournament as the top fraggers out of NA/SA. We'll see if it's going to work out versus another team that's currently in the top 3 that they hope to breach very soon. Imperium is going to be Vivo Kid. And so far, it's been a flawless defense. Diego going to jump out. Here's the nades. Not willing to take those to the face. He jumps down, tries to go for the res, hoping Nova do not push it just yet. And he might just have the luck as the third party's happening on the other side. It's INCO not getting involved.
I was just thinking the only thing that's keeping Vivo Kid alive for the time being is the third party, and Diego comes in, gets it double knock, takes full advantage of that. Beautiful from Diego.
Give me more, Diego. That's what we want. That is why it is so hard to breach in the top 3, because these guys of Vivo Kid are just so damn consistent. And though another team just trying to breach their way into the top 3 is going to be Rise. Can they take down our top 3 contender right now in Vivo Kid? We'll see how that's going to go, though. There you go. One knock is going to connect. The second, actually, Rise going to be losing 2 of their top players. Mufasa and Rafina remaining. Mufasa was spotted away. That is such a hard rotation against the high ground spot of INCO Gaming. Now, all Vivo Kid have to really do is wait for the next circle, and during that time, they're going to put as much hurt as they can in this late game lobby.
Rise now down to just 1 player. Unfortunately, they got looked at quite heavily by both Vivo Kid and INCO. Nothing they could really do.
Ooh.
Plus, with the circle really shifting over to the west, they have to cross the road. Rise. Rafina has nowhere to go.
I mean, maybe if he has some utility, I don't know about his smoke count. If he has a smoke and he can cross, I think he has a little dip right next to the road that would be good to hopefully steal away a second place. He is not aiming for that chicken dinner unless he has the best position possible. Becca just rushing it in, just getting some potential away, but he doesn't.
Perfect.
Rafina gets absolutely overwhelmed by that push from Becca, and that's it. Down to 2 teams, going to be Vivo Kid versus INCO Gaming. INCO Gaming lose themselves one of their players. It's down to a 3v3. Imperium is the head-to-head happening between these 2 squads. Vivo Kid have to push away while INCO Gaming are securing the position in circle. Vivo Kid, this is going to be one tough nut to crack.
It was such a great move by INCO. They knew by pushing on towards that solo of Rise, they were not only guaranteeing a top 2, but they were also taking away the third-party element. Even if it means they don't win the game, that was a big, big call from INCO. Good play.
It was just an investment in the future. McGrellin, what was that? 2 bullets in, 1 body shot, 1 headshot, and boom, you just cleared 1 entire off angle. Now, Becca, if he gets hit by that nade, McGrellin, I am going to scream. Good nade, good damage. Get it done. Also, Golden cannot get rest up, so now it's technically down to 2. Another nade comes on through. VT2K able to survive it. He is the clutch master, though, of this team, Imperium, right? INCO Gaming still have a living chance. He's getting backstabbed, and a nade off Diego is big. It's huge, and it goes the entire way. And Becca now was able to heal off yet another first aid. He's ready to go, but an A connects. And Vivo Kid remain absolutely dominant from start to finish of their game, getting himself chicken dinner 1 of day 7 of the Americas Elite League.
What more can I really say about them? Right, Max? What more can we really say about Vivo Kid? They just don't stop overall. we highlighted the consistency, the massive consistency from Vivo Keed. It has been and will continue to be matched by Vivo Keed. That's all we can really say. Their utility game, I've highlighted the massive strength of the utilities that all of kind of LATAM, Brazil, and North America have, in my opinion. But just all of those nades that Vivo Keed use in all the right directions, that pushing the save on the Nova, that's big boy clutch right there. That's big boy ballsy play, and they just knew they had to try something in that moment. The second they got hold of that compound, it was game over for everybody else. Chicken dinner for Vivo Keed.
Yeah, to quote James in the chat right now, sheesh, that was that. Well, definitely one sheesh of a finish, Imperium coming out from Vivo Keed. So controlling, making sure that no teams had a chance to take that chicken dinner away, but also big respect to INCO. Willing to take that one position away from Rafina was key to make sure they had ample opportunities to invest in the future, invest in what could have been their chicken dinner, and hopefully have the perfect position to do so, which in terms of terrain and circle, they had the advantage. But that one body shot into a headshot of McGrellin was absolute key, because Golden was the one trying to help V22K push his way forward, and without that assistance of Golden, without him peeking from that high ground position, he is now vulnerable. Vivo Keed could push around, and that's why you look at them, I think in just the next 2 seconds here, looking so confident and willing to nade V22K's position. Because Golden was lost, there was not that backup plan available anymore.
It was beautiful awareness from McGrellin right across the board, but I do have to say I think Becker should have been a bit more aggressive. I believe he should have been a little bit more proactive, even if it meant he was the first from the team to get knocked. I think that would have allowed a little bit more space for V2 and Golden to push down that hill and get a couple of shots onto the Vivo Key players. That would be the only mistake that I think INCO Gaming made, but at the end of the day, still 22 points, joint with the chicken dinner winners, Vivo Keed.
Yeah, 2 top teams here, 22 points apiece, looking absolutely amazing. But we said, Imperium, this is why it is so hard to overtake the top 5 currently. You got yourself Vivo Keed, you got yourself Rise Esports, you got yourself Nova. Are just continuously up there. Sure, a little bit of a downhill for Influence Rage, but still, this is like one of their worst games so far, and it's still a 5-pointer. They still got 4 eliminations. That is what you describe of consistency. This is, for Influence Rage's backlog of games, one of their worst games. And it's even not that bad. That's how good it is so far, their results throughout the entire tournament. But yeah, once again, the top 5 just making a statement that we are the top 5 for a reason. You're not going to mess with us. And if you want to try and overtake the top 5 currently, you're going to have to go a very, very long way. And I do not think, unfortunately, for a lot of these teams, there are enough games available to make that comeback happen when the top 5 are able to get games like this every single game, back to back to back. So yeah, they're making a statement that they are currently the best teams in NA/SA region. And man, I want to see at least, if not 2 to 3 of these teams that are currently in our top 5 in PMGC, because these guys are absolute bonkers.
They really are, and I'm hoping Nova can continue the consistency in today's games, because there is a bit of an opportunity for them to get past Alpha 7 overall. Alpha 7 haven't proven themselves to be the most consistent team. They're definitely the most aggressive with the highest elimination points, at least. But looking at the closer stats of the winning team, 7 eliminations, 7 knocks. That's overall 100% return on investment with 1600 damage. And then the sign of the devil in healing, because they are the devils of the lobby, right? They're just like, you know, poking the other teams with their horns and just like, yeah.
31 smokes. Is that real? Is that real?
It is.
30.
It is.
I have never seen, I think, that high of an amount of smokes used in one singular game by one team. I mean, that's headshot hills to you, right? You take yourself a fight, you smoke it out to hold that position to block out off angles, which is mainly the off angle of Nova. So they were taking the fight initially versus, what was it? They were taking the fight versus Influence Rage at one point, even versus INTZ, and they were continuously holding the pressure on those teams while also keeping themselves safe with the utility to block the angles from, you know, INCO Gaming, from also Nova. That was the plan they were going for, but Becker was going to be the MVP of this game, of course, was those 8 eliminations and only 640 damage. What was that? That smells like kill steal, just saying. But you know what? Still going to respect it, Becker. Good job on this game.
Look, look, damage doesn't get you points, Max man. Eliminations do. So don't hate the player, hate the game. Opportunity is a wonderful thing. Becker took full advantage of every opportunity he had.
Yeah, I mean, you go, hey, okay, no, I'm not hating. I apologize, Becco. Okay, you did really good. Yes, you got a point. Good job.
Okay.
Other than that, we're going to be things to go, of course. Vivo keep, man, Diego, that compound entrance and breach onto Nova, it was super close. He was able to back off and capitalized on a backstabbing third party that was coming in from INCO Gaming to go for the re-engage. He was feeling super confident, love to see it. But the man with the glasses, Adrian, is always going to be here. Him and Diego will look absolutely stellar from start to finish this game. Adrian is always going to be up there. It doesn't matter what stat, he's going to be there at some point. And Team QUESO, man, they took that 5 vs 8 on, they unfortunately lost it. But Team QUESO started off the game off a really good foot. I thought they might go for chicken dinner, but I caught it a little bit too early, so unfortunate for Team QUESO towards the end. But with that said, that is it for us, ladies and gentlemen, for the first game of the day. We still got 4 more remaining, and this was already an absolutely insane good first game. So you definitely want to stick around after this break for Game 2 on Miramar.
Hello? Vous êtes bien chez Julien Fournier Rock Couture. Love is magic. Metaverse is amazing.
Howdy, partner. Welcome back for the Americas Elite League Day 7. What? Okay. Man, I've seen that ad way too many times by now. It was bound to happen at some point. I can tell you one thing, Imperium. There's not enough town. There's not. Oh, okay, I messed it up. I want to say there's not enough space in this town for 2 of us, but okay, there's not enough town for the 2 of us. Okay, it works too. Okay, there's not enough free real estate in Pyram. The investment is at an all-time high right now. God damn it!
Just quit while you're behind, man. Just quit while you're behind, dude.
I wish I was good at like quoting and on stream, but I just cannot do it. I don't know. It's my weakness.
The saying is, this town ain't big enough for the 2 of us.
I didn't even get it right. You see, man, it's like my weakness. I'm like a water type Pokemon fighting a Bulbasaur. You know, I just cannot do it. It is my weakness, and I cannot get it right.
It's all the anime you've watched. Too much anime.
All my quotes I know, they're in Japanese, and you guys aren't going to understand them. You know, Omae wa mushinderu. You know, that's great, but you can only go that far, and that's about it. But with that said, back to a more serious topic here this time around. Last game, absolute stellar performance and good way to kick off day 7 here for the Americas Elite League for the boys of VIVO Key. But competition is getting close. INCO Gaming, Rise, teams that are aiming to hopefully at some point of the tournament, right, in Pyram, making that top 3. Had a very good start here. But can we see more? That's the big question that I hope that we're going to be answering yes at the end of today, because we want to see more competition to the top, because we don't want the top 3 running rent-free in the heads of all the other teams, right? We want to see a little bit more competition and closeness towards that top 3.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Bring on the closeness. Of course, Alpha 7 technically have a game in hand over the 2 teams above them in Influence Rage and VIVO Key. Plus even a game in hand over both Rise and Nova. Like I said, I want to continue to see the pressure put on Nova. And sorry, not pressure put on Nova, but pressure put on by Nova. And the fact that they're probably going to be taking a fight inside Minas Generalis means they need to win it.
Ooh, I don't know why, but I mean, it's kind of like this. It's like the new boot camp, okay? And I'll take that. If anything can compare to boot camp, I think the Minas Generalis fight is going to be probably the one. So, come on, give it to me. I want to see some good stuff in the early game. Though, ooh, this is a interesting drop from the Chosen. Where are they heading up to? They're going to Minas del Sur Island, like the Southern Island or something? I'm not too sure, but seemed like they understood what was happening in the past with their drop versus rise inside apartments/school. So they're like, you know what? We're going to go where literally no one has ever dropped in the history of humanity. And you know what? That southern position is pretty isolated. So
you know what?
Respect to the,
Max?
they are quite
They realized that that town ain't big enough for the 2 of them, so they moved away.
I hate it. Now you look good and I look bad because you did it right first time. That's not fair.
Oh my lord, oh my lord. Phase zone pops up. It is over on towards the eastern side. Not too heavily east, so it's ahead of a lot of that mainland is in play, so it opens the door for a lot of core areas to hold on to within this phase 1. Teams are starting to really kind of drop in towards their spots right now. Loops, Nova, Venus, it continues on.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Oh, we'll see. This fight currently encapsulates the NA versus SA rivalry. Yeah, I have the impression. Who is going to be mightier? NA or SA is going to be Loops or Nova. Well, Zifan has a pan in hand and maybe just waiting, like in Home Alone movie, where he just waits around the corner with I don't know why, if it's a bat or something, and just waits and just bonks him on the head when he comes around the corner. Oh, maybe he just wants to throw the pan. I think that would be nice.
Maybe he does just want to throw the pan. Maybe he does.
What are we going to do? I mean, Toiko only has, I'm not sure about a secondary weapon, but from what I've seen right now, he only has a Winchester. So, rare is the situation where I would say, you know what? Hey, he has a fair chance with the pan, not going to lie. Because I don't think that Winchester is going to one-shot Zefan right now. Unless it's a headshot, then, of course, yeah, that's not going to look too good, but there's a fair fighting chance. Kiyoshi, though, oh, dance for me, baby, dance for me. I'll make it be your man. He's literally got three teammates on him. Well, not teammates, I should say, enemies of Delta Stars. And well, even though Delta Stars are not known as an aggressive team, I think this was a pretty much a given elimination. So, fair enough to Delta Stars.
Well, to give a little bit defense to Lotus, it's rare that anyone else drops in towards this northern side. But again, parachutes should always be considered, and being able to see, you know, where teams are dropping around you is a given. So I also want to be a little bit critical to Lotus in that regard. It is what it is. You're down to 3 players. They have a team now directly in front of them as Nova Kindness looks to play it on through, and I think, as far as I know, Bete had absolutely like nothing in the form of a gun, right? So he was just hoping his fist could have the fist of fury.
Oh, come on. Oh, man, I think he saw he had a weapon. He's like, oh, no, please.
Yeah.
Trying to run away. Oh, there you go. There's one player right up top. Is that J7? It's J7 of XSET. Okay, well, they're going to climb up. This looks like Ninja Warrior right now. What's happening? They're just trying to make it through the parkour. And he tries to... What is this game? I don't know if I love it or I hate it, but it's something.
Yeah. It's
the start.
It's something. It's something. That's all I can really say right now. Yeah, we've only lost 4 players. Well, 3 players, because Lazarus only spawned in with 3, but they've been kind of weird ways in which players have gone down, it kind of feels. But good push by Team QUESO. Have to give them props, because that was a full 4-man push, and considering they don't always win the fight in Monte Nuevo, I thought there was a great adaptability coming out from them, in which they realistically surprised XSET.
Look, okay, I'm going to give you a reason why I hate this fight. Okay, it's not because of the position, because if you drop in Minas Generalis, sure, you're going to have some off angles, you're going to have some high ground positions, especially if you drop up north. And you have that surprise factor. There's definitely there. You have to be very cautious about. But look at this. I think I have never seen in a hot drop such... I'm gonna call it highlight. Absolute trash loot. Like, these guys have nothing worth it.
Yeah.
That is my biggest issue. It's not because, oh, this town is too small for the 2 of us. No, that's not the issue. It is big enough for the 2 of you guys, but there's not enough loot for the 2 of you guys, and I think that's an even bigger issue. So,
boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more, and that's always been my issue as well, right from the start when both of these teams hot dropped. I mean, so I was like, what is there to really fight over, right? It's a useless drop spot for 1 team, never mind 2. So yeah, more stubbornness comes around as Revo with the car 98 not quite connecting onto the members of INCO, who are heading for a dead center area of this map. It means that the 2 teams are in Minas Generalis. Either way could end up getting third party as they do trade, because you're going to have INCO to the northern hillsides, you're going to have Rise to the eastern hillsides, and you could have INTZ to the western hillside. So both of these teams are really going to end up just not not winning.
Boy. Let's go. Love to see those kind of situations happen. We are going to be seeing the stats of Alpha 7 up in their first game right now. 157 eliminations in home. 157. That means if they only have their eliminations, they would currently be in 12th, which is absolutely insane when you really think about it. But there you go. Nova Esports, you're going to be pushing it up. This is a Hail Mary fight that we're seeing right here. Absolutely hate it, but also at the same time absolutely love it. Nova going to go for the push. Peek around. Oh, a lot of those bullets were absorbed in the wall. Not the intention I think Alpha 7 had at the very start. But Mafioso, one nade,
nice
reload that.
That's a nice nade.
And it does. Right onto Fears. Starlight on the background. Let's see if he can do more than tweet all day. Let's see if he can actually get the res on his teammate there. Another nade. The same one. The same one. Okay, there's not a nade.
That's a flash.
Had the idea. I think I know what a flashbang is. Thank you. But it's definitely not a nade.
Okay.
A very simple one.
Hey, you called it a nade.
Oh, that was an aid. That was an aid. Starlight gets it. There you go. Look at those Twitter fingers right now going absolute to the speed of light. He gets the engage. Nicely done. Alpha 7, though, going to be sending the Warriors back in, looking for the engage. Sorry, by the way, Starlight. I love your tweets. Just messing around. I'm the same. I got my Twitter fingers. I know how it goes. I know how it feels. Alpha 7, though, peeking around. Whoa, whoa, whoa. PvP. Whoa. Might be a double. Reaver ready to peek once more with a drop shot. He gets one. This way, to the car. Don't do it. Oh, he did it. He did. I told you, Revo, you didn't want to do that. He did it, and he lost. But lucky enough, he's behind the wall. He's safe for now. I love this start of the game. I'm having so much fun. This is Miramar.
This,
Like
this
Sanhok.
is
It's Sanhok's spirit.
That's the thing. That's why I said it. It doesn't matter that we don't have Sanhok, because we knew this was realistically going to happen between kind of teams going wild, both on Miramar and Wrangle. I just think these fights have been just a little bit weirdly placed. Like, why are they fighting on the very northern edge of the circle outside Tori Alamada? It's just, it doesn't make sense to me, but look, it is what it is. I won't think about it. Just enjoy the entertainment.
Look at that too. That does not happen. He just jumps right in the middle of it. He could have been instantly shut down in the fighting versus you. Oh, okay. I guess we'll not see. We'll go over to the fight of Loops versus Nova, and that's it for Nova. Nail in the coffin, and that says to get eliminated at the end of that one. And so do Lazarus. So we're losing already 2 NA teams at the very, very start of the game. So it seems like the SA domination and Brazilian domination is going to be strong this one.
Yeah, and like I said, Nova needed to win that fight. They don't, so it kind of cancels out the 15-point gain they got in the first game. It is kind of a big part of why they haven't cracked into the top 3. And you maybe think, stubbornness aside, if they had have adjusted their drop spot, it might have worked out. But then again, I would argue, because they're going to be in PMPL North America, they probably have their drop spot secured in PMPL North America. So why change it for this tournament?
And all was lost for Loops. They thought they took themselves a W. They thought they were fine, but unfortunately they were not. I'm going to have a quick look at the stats of Mythic, and he is indeed Imperium. We had a question earlier, right? Was he still going to be the top frag of the tournament? And he currently is with 56. 56 so far. How many eliminations were done by the entirety of his team, actually? Let me check that. At the start of the day, Rise had 132 eliminations, so he's just under 50%. He must be around like 40%, I believe, right? Of the total fragging power of his team. As an individual, that is an absolutely surreal stat, and I'm loving the influence we saw from Mythic so far. I want to see way more of Mythic in the future.
I called this, by the way. I said that it doesn't matter who wins the fight in Minas, because you have Rise now, less INCO, to be fair, but because you had Rise on the east, they have that area covered, and it was only going to go downhill for either Loops or Nova in the end. Now Loops are still alive, but they're not looking the best. INCO down to just VIVO 2K as far as I know. Actually, no, INCO have 3 players up and just don't know where. Oh, the other 2 are actually a little bit more towards Graveyard, which is definitely an interesting 2-1 split. Don't disagree, but I think Graveyard is a kind of compound where you want to really hold it down as a full squad, just with how it's positioned inside this phase 2.
Don't know if you've seen the rotation right now from the Chosen Imperium, but you know what? Sometimes there would be times I would look at a team and say, man, that is too passive. I do not like this. I want to see more aggressiveness from some of these teams and how they rotate, how they try and move around. For the Chosen in particular, very passive early drop location. They're going for the wide rotate passively around the eastern side, very close to El Azahar in the east of the circle. If it was any other team, I'd be like, it's fine, but I hope they're not going to play in that more passive nature later on. Because it's the Chosen and that they just struggle when it comes to these fights on the head-to-head pieces of action we've seen so far. If they just want to go for the play, which is aim for placement points, that is fine. I would like to see changes around that in the future, but with the amount of games remaining, it's not going to happen, right? So I think just go to where you're going to be comfortable and just go up there for glory, because we know that they're not going to get close to that top 3 to get the extra bit of money. They're still going to be stuck at that $400 margin. So it's like Imperium said at the start of the day, right? Train. It's training. It's hard to replicate these types of situations in scrims, so use that as a good learning experience.
Next circle pops up and it centralizes quite nicely. The El Azahar Hills are the place to be, either north or south of it. If I was the Chosen, I would send a bit of a split either side of the hill. It means you have both the north and the south edge of the circle covered. So when the next circle pops up on phase 4, you have every opportunity to reposition in a valuable way for a strong setup into the late game. So that's what I want to see from the Chosen, as ESTORM are in a bit of a storm against Rise Esports, who hold on to still a fantastic split up on the Minas Generales hillside.
I think we've done too many puns. on ESTORM's name and like doing weather jokes. I feel like
No, never
weatherman
enough.
right
Never enough.
Okay.
Never enough.
Okay. Never enough. We'll see if they can weather the storm though this time around versus Rise, and Rise indeed that is exactly what they do. They step up to the plate, get himself the extra elimination. 4 so far for Rise, very opportunistic when it comes to their gameplay style so far. Here we go, another engage going to be Furious Gaming that I still want to see more than just some good macro. I want to see some good micro, I want to see some good fights, and unfortunately it seemed like he was just not meant to be in this situation as Lewis on ESTORM picks up the elimination.
God.
We're looking for more.
Furious Gaming, what are you doing? Where are you actually looking to go? There's a sense of running around like headless chickens from the Furious Gaming camp, in my opinion. You lose someone, you're a little bit desperate, you don't really know where you want to go, you don't have any information around you, and you're just hoping to survive. It's not looking good as Honored Souls are looking to take advantage of that. Lovely sprays by Myth on the Truth.
Man, his red school just barely moved. How do they, I keep asking, how the hell do they do that? I wish my hands were that steady so I could actually do that, because that is insane. Yeah. Here you go, though. Push coming out once more is going to be the Stars actually defending their territory, which, hey, you know what? Respect to them. Didn't see that enough in the past. Hopefully they can turn a new leaf. Get things sorted on that aspect. Nice little shot from Elite. Get himself some damage done. This is Rafina, but unfortunately no knock will come from it. Though the circle, it moved up Imperium, we got that big road cross-section. We got the X of the Hacienda de Patron road section in play, so it's going to be a little bit of a gamble, very similar to a river. Of course, not as harsh, but teams are going to have to commit and sometimes going to have to remain in positions without the opportunity to cross over, because that road is not very forgiving.
It's like a three-way dance between Delta Stars, Honored Souls, and Rise Esports. Rise are a little bit split. Team Queso going up against the members of ESTORM. Lewis is going to take down Bye. Can the rest of Team Queso return fire? It's not going to be the case. Ken cleans them up inside the blue. Team Queso, you're out of here.
Yeah, unfortunately, he had no information of where the last players were remaining. So Nitsu takes the L, eliminated in 13th. Still a nice try, but unfortunately doesn't go the entire way, and we saw away. Okay, we're going to focus on this right now. Mythic peeks over the side and doesn't even get punished, and you're even going to go press on his teammate.
So cracked.
Yeah. I think Mythic is, for me, with Adrian, are like the MVPs. Like I love them. I love these guys. I want to see more of them. Hopefully in the future. Hopefully in the PMGC at some point. That'll be great. Grand finals, of course.
Bring it on, like I did say that I could easily see. Well, actually, I don't know if I said it about Rise overall, but I could definitely see Rise and PMGC with just a little bit more tuning. It will 100% Vivo keyed, of course, 900% Vivo keyed, but a little bit more fine tuning from Rise, and they will gladly be in PMGC by the end of the year.
That'll be great to see, but here we go. Lotus, another fight's going to be coming their ways. Blinky's the last one, and woo! The Chosen trying to hop around the corner, but Lotus will go no further. That's it, the Chosen able to hold their ground, but their ground is not in circle. It's not going to be the holy ground to remain onto right now, because a lot of teams are ready to breach and snatch it away from them. Good nade from Myth. That's what you want to see. You're going to go for double whammy, potentially onto Oppa. But Oppa, just like on Sanok, has that clutch factor. Can he bring it back once more, though? Going through the corridor, going to have to take himself a fight. They're not pushing at the same time. They're giving him the opportunity. Myth going to try and peek. One more bullet, so speed. That's it. Oppa and the Chosen are out in 10th, and now only single-digit team remaining, the number of 9. But, man, not even half of the teams are in the circle yet, so this is going to be a real race against the clock.
I honestly don't get why the likes of the Chosen and even Lotus went for the compound that wasn't even inside the circle. It just doesn't make sense to me, being honest. You're better off trying to hold on to the high ground, and even Honored Souls that pushed in, unless it was just reacting to hearing the shots around them, it still doesn't make sense to me. Now, they can't move back up towards the hillside on either northeastern or the eastern edge of the circle, so we'll have to wait and see if that's something they look to do.
Yeah, if we take this back a few days ago, this exact circle right in Imperium, we saw Alpha 7 absolutely dominate the northern side, then move into Team Queso's position and take the chicken dinner. They have experience, they have true knowledge and understanding about how these type of circles and how the terrain works. So Alpha 7 is looking at a very big contender here as to getting the chicken dinner for Game 2 of Day 7, the America's Elite League Season 3. See how far it's going to go. Nice little one-taps coming out on Romulazin, though. Not going to go the entire way. The circle's almost closed up here, Imperium. We're about to hit the 19-minute mark. Things are starting to heat up for all of these teams. But we just got to wait for the next circle shift, and that's where the teams are going to have to make decisions as to crossing positions or waiting to hold on to an off angle. And that's the hard decision to make for these finishing moments, because it could mean everything between life and death.
Both Rise and INCO, for the most part, do have players inside the circle have a circle position to call their own. So there's no real urgency to really take this fight, but Mythic is going to look to reposition inside the buggy. Mufasa is going to also adjust his spot. Mythic is going to take one, gets the shot off, opens the door, and gets a knock. He's just so good.
He just can't lose. Oh, okay, well, he can lose, apparently. There you go. He's out. Well, sorry, Mythic. You're bad, man. Hey, you know what? Nice try, but yet the third party is not looking too good, and INCO Gaming were able to get himself into a decent position to go for that push. Still one more player remaining. The hope of Rise. Can they rise up once again? Mufasa trying to get Garrix back up with that smoke, but Becker does not want to allow that to happen. He does not want to see that res come to fruition. He goes for the push and clears them out. Becker looking for the back-to-back MVP question mark? Might be happening.
I love the fact that Becker went for the 1v1 instead of going for the revive. So many players can learn from that kind of moment. Yeah, okay, there's a chance you could have lost that 1v1, but in my opinion, 9 times out of 10, you're better off going out fighting instead of playing the passive game and going for a revive. Good play, Becker.
Okay, ESTORM, I don't think this is a game you want to play right now. Yeah, Lewis is getting absolutely battered. The car goes boom, and so does his life and his team as they get completely torn to shreds. ESTORM out in 8th. 7 teams still gunning for that chicken dinner of Game 2 of the day. But INTZ, their compound is still dead center of the circle. They have the road, but the weak spot at Imperium is right up north. And who's north? That's Alpha 7. Once they try and get involved, once they get a little bit closer to where Honored Souls and INTZ currently are, maybe they don't want to take the fight first on them. Maybe they want to gatekeep XSET, gatekeep Influence Rage, gatekeep INCO, or even Delta Stars. That is going to be the game plan. But once no teams are remaining down south across that road, they're going to go for the full-on push and breach onto INTZ and Honored Souls. And man, that is going to be one sight to see.
Influence Rage only one elimination point, but they are in the top 7. They have a 2-2 split, which is great to see. Plus, there's far less traffic on the southern side of the circle. So Influence Rage, although they do get shot from a distance by Alpha 7, they should still have good coverings inside the circle.
You know what, we had that question mark, Imperium, right, as to Senatexa leaving Alpha 7 for Rise. Is that going to hurt the team? Which, you know, a lot of people might answer yes to that question, but we do not feel that emptiness has been left behind by Senatexa. At least in this game in particular, they're as confident, as dominant, and as strong as they've ever been. It's just the Alpha 7 of old still being here, but reborn as a somewhat updated roster 2.0. And once again, talking about dominance, they're going to be continuously popping that spray. But Honored Soul trying to put himself on even grounds with Alpha 7. Mafioso doesn't seem aware of Honored Soul's position. So that could throw a spanner in the works for Alpha 7 as they have that 2-2 split, which is just still so good. But they've got to regroup next to Carrillo and Mafioso to next get himself into the circle.
Great defense set up by INTZ. All 4 players taking separate buildings. It's overall the way to play that kind of defense, because not only do you hold the multiple angles of those buildings, nades that do come in, less likely to have more than one player knocked. You see Mateus is under a little bit of pressure and gets knocked. That's the opening. Alpha 7, they're going to push in. They're going to go for the crash. They want this game. They want this fight.
They want the W, but you've got to be careful of a potential third party. That could be huge for Influence Rage or INCO, depending on who wins the Southern fight. Talking about that Southern fight, we're going to go round to it. And Influence Rage, they take it without even breaking a sweat right there. Still has a 4-man. Federal Shaw has to heal up a little bit, even maybe Law. But other than that, once they hear the gunshots and the grenades going through in this compound, man, I expect a huge third party to potentially happen very soon. Look at that. They're ready in the cars, ready to move around. While Swagon, currently the only background support for the team. So Honored Souls might have an opportunity, but no, Honored Souls, they're going to have a new problem to take care of. That's going to be the full-on push of the other team on the other side. Is going to be Influence Rage. So we'll see how that's going to go. But 7 and Influence Rage. 2 teams still in the top 3 fighting for this top position. 11 eliminations already, and they'll just steal so many remaining Imperium. Alpha 7 are going for the glorious first place here at the end of the day, maybe.
Influence Rage, 2-2 split. Myth, last playoff for Honored Souls into the top 4. Do have a 7 eliminations. It's been a damn good game for Honored Souls. Don't know how long he's going to be able to survive for, though.
Oh, okay, INTZ and Alpha 7, they just joined forces right now to be the absolute dominant threat of the compound, making sure no other team has a chance of snatching away the second place. Mafioso's the one that's going to be snatching away the elimination onto Little Boy, maybe looking even for Gaoski of Influence Rage. That 2-2 split, I think, was a little ballsy, seeing the position in which Alpha 7 and INTZ currently were standing. I think that just staying with Federal and Law was a way better opportunity for them. But you know what? They give it a shot, didn't work out. Still have an opportunity of making things work out. The Revo onto INTZ, that's one great molly. And now they're down to 1. That's easy math. They have the numerical advantage. And they go for the engage. And boom goes the dynamite as INTZ get absolutely wiped off the surface of Miramar, eliminated in 3rd. And now the battle of our 2 top 3 teams currently happening in Pyramid. And this is why top 3 is so hard to breach, because they are the pure definition of consistency, always making it towards the very, very end.
The only way Influence Rage wins this game, I was going to say the only way they win it is if the circle goes towards them. It does, but it is still a 2v4. We saw what Alpha 7 did to the crash on INTZ inside the compound. They have no bones about looking to push on towards the members of Influence Rage. They can trade up to 2 players and still win this game.
Oh, I would have loved to see Swagger maybe go to the western side of the circle, cross the road, and if he's not really shut down, that would be the perfect off angle to make sure Influence Rage cannot have the impact they expected in this finish. Over to the west. I think Revo's doing it exactly what I want. That is the prime position, while the rest of the team take some shots, so they can't peek. If he gets in position, that's perfect. Carrillo. Oh my word! That name was fantastic. And Revo's on the perfect angle. There's no escape for Federal. He cannot get the res. If he tries to go for the res, Revo's going to peek and you're done. He goes for the first hit and boom, peeked around, and he's done and dusted. Alpha 7, the perfect execution at the very, very end secures them another chicken dinner. I cannot even count how many chicken dinners they got so far because they got too damn many.
You called it though right at the end. That western rotation by Revo was absolutely on point. We always knew it was going to be tough for the final 2 players of Influence Rage, but Alpha 7 didn't take anything for granted, and they got the angle, they got the play, they got the chicken dinner. And it was a overall a very kind of like, not like a super passive game from Alpha 7, but wasn't as controlling. They did allow other teams to do their dirty work for them. But when it came to the time for Alpha 7 to make a move, to control the game, they did that exactly. It started on the crash to INTZ, and it went from there.
You know me, Imperium, okay? With the time we casted together, I'm a very nitpicky caster. When I see things that can be improved upon, I like to bring them up. I'm looking at this, and even if I wanted to be nitpicky and say, oh, they could have done that better, I just cannot think of anything.
I agree.
That is how good of an execution that was until the very end. 17 elimination, 32 points total, and it's just their first game. They were not even heated up, Imperium. They're like, yeah, we're going to go into this one. We're going to get a chicken dinner and 17 eliminations. God damn it. Alpha 7, give some of these points to the other teams. They need it. They need it.
They got exactly double the points of Influence Rage. That is wild. That is absolutely wild. I think Influence Rage could have gotten themselves more elimination points. I feel like they stayed together a little bit too much, where they allowed, although they ended up kind of winning the fight against INCO, for example, I think they could have gotten involved a little bit more heavily if they had it spread out earlier into the game. But otherwise, the second place is nothing to be sniffed at. The team that I'm probably impressed with the most is Honored Souls, because I think they did a great job of balancing that aggression that they have and mixed it with some real solid late game movement and some late game survival. Yeah, it wasn't like the prettiest way to go down, but still 8 placement points, 15 in total. Good stuff on our souls.
They're just trying to make the ends connect at the very end of the game. I cannot really complain. They didn't have the man advantage. The terrain definitely was not in their favor, so they just tried to stay low, and hopefully teams are going to forget about them. But the moment Influence Rage pushed on their location, that whole fight and ordeal was going down, so it alerted that entire fight that was going down to INTZ and also to the side of Alpha 7. So the moment you had those two teams locked on your position, and unfortunately you're not going to get that chicken dinner. Still, as you said, a very respectable attempt from that team, but it was not going to be enough at the very end. Though here we go. I mean, of course, the MVP team of this game is going to be with the 70 eliminations from your boys of Alpha 7. Man, it's very little to say about these stats. It's just Alpha 7 doing Alpha 7 things, and we are just almost expecting games like these now from these guys.
Yeah, I was kind of like worried that to an extent that the volatility of their performance could be a reason why they maybe don't succeed as heavily in these games. And I know this is their first game today, but I think that kind of thought process needs to be squashed for me. And I need to realize and recognize that it is going to be an absolute three-way battle right until the bitter end. And I'm here for it. Because, yeah, Influence Rage had a good game. Really can't argue with it. Back-to-back strong games. But when Alpha 7 get double the amount of points in that one game, it kind of nearly cancels it out, right? It nearly cancels it out. Yeah. It's low-key mesmerizing.
Yeah, here you go, Revo with the... I almost want to call this the Carrillo haircut. I remember I did a meme tweet about this haircut like 1 year ago, and it got like 500 likes during last year's PMGC.
Really?
Yeah, you know what? And I think, yeah. It was fun. I mean, I actually went semi-viral for PUBG Mobile, kind of. It was really fun, but I mean, I think this is the haircut that you only get when you've proven yourself as a true warrior of PUBG Mobile Esport, and this is it. It's like when you're Viking, you get those cool tattoos. When you're sick at PUBG Mobile and you get some 6 shots and you get like those 20 eliminations a game, that's the kind of haircut that you have to get. Is like a ritual by now. But here you go. He's going to be the top eliminations of this game with 6, and also top damage was 1,145. Just about a third of the total damage done for his team. Revo, an absolute force to reckon with, and Carrillo being there was also the top assist with 4.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm supposed to be able to know what to say, but I can't because it's just so expected now. It's so hard to break down anything.
That's the thing, it kind of just speaks for itself for the most part. But one thing that I do notice is that Rise have 2 players in the top 3 of assists, Rafina and Mythic. Because that's one thing that we need to kind of be aware of. Yes, Rise Esports do have and will have Senatex in their roster. And that hopefully will allow Mythic, it will add to the strength of the team alongside Mythic. But make no mistake about it, right? When you have players like Gary X that are enabling Mythic and are supporting him in the right way, that makes a big difference. And it's not just that one player that's outstanding, it's the whole team. So, you know, just to give props to the rest of the Rise team, I'm noticing your guys' performance. I'm noticing you as a team, and I see it. It's very impressive.
Look, this is going to be a little bit of a quick message that I want to say directly to every single team that's participating in PMPL Brazil Spring 2022 season. If you're in that tournament, and you got teams like Vivo Keyed, Influence Rage, Rise, Alpha 7, RIP. That's it. With that said, myself and Imperium, we're going to head on over to a break. We'll be back for game number 3 in just a few short minutes.
Hello? Vous êtes bien chez Julien Fournier Couture. Love is magic. Metaverse is amazing.
This town ain't big enough for the two of us. Yeah. Now, yeah. Got it. Took me one whole game and we got it, boys. But you know what? We got it. Also, we're going to have one great game happening once again while Team Imperium is crying on the side. Absolute domination for that. my man leaving. Okay, well. See ya. I'll do it alone. Okay, he's gone for real. Well, please come back if you don't want to let me do this alone. But yeah, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to jump into our third game of the day for Day 7 here of the America's Elite League Season 3. And man, the top teams have been dominating. VIVO keyed after 7 games, chicken dinner. But Imperium, you're never going to get chicken dinner if you leave like that. Don't surrender. Can't do that. It's not cool.
I just needed to go outside for a sec and just...
real quick.
Just that was real quick. It was much needed. But yeah, like I said before the break, you can see right now as we have a look at the overall standings, it's ridiculously heating up. Now, Influence Rage do have a game over both Alpha 7 and VIVO keyed, and Alpha 7 and VIVO keyed are on the same amount of matches. And they're only 2 points dividing each other. This is so good, and I'm sorry, Nova. I'm sorry, Rise, but that ship has sailed. That ship has sailed. This is a top 3 race for the first place, in my eyes. You know, Nova, Rise. Not to completely disregard you, but you're out of here. This is a top 3 race.
Yeah, no, top 4, top 5, still nothing to be sniffed at. You're still a really, really good result from both Nova and Rise, but I have to agree, because if you want to see Nova or Rise make it up in the top 3, you're going to not only have Nova and Rise get a good finish after today and have an insanely good performance in Day 8, but you need, I mean, mainly VIVO keyed and Alpha 7, I think the Influence Rage are already up there, so you want to make sure that Alpha 7 and VIVO keyed have a really, really bad end of day and really bad Day 8. The stars need to align, and if you just go into the infamous Imperium sentence of the law of percentages, I think that it's fair to say that the odds are not in your favor by a pretty big margin. So yeah, I would just give up on that one over East 1 Rise. All you have to really do right now is to remain in that 4th and 5th spot, maybe even try and inverse it from back-to-back, but otherwise, I mean, INCO Gaming and teams below that are definitely not gunning for 5th place or above, so there's no chance out. Our top 5 is locked in, our top 3 especially is locked in. Now the question stands, Imperium. Who's going to be in first at the end of this tournament? Really, I do not know. It's as close as can be. Every single team getting chicken dinner back to back sometimes, and it's hard to make a prediction right now.
It's really, I do not want to be a betting man, of course, as we have a look once again at the groups coming into game number 3. We're going to have Group C, as far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Group C are not going to be competing in this 3rd game of the day. The Hollow Grounds of Wrangle. Man, there you go. So, yeah, the Hollow Grounds of Wrangle.
Is that thing? The Hollow Grounds?
I just want to say, yeah, the Hollow Grounds, yeah.
The Hollow Grounds is like it's empty. Like there's nothing underneath the surface of Wrangle.
It's not literally, it's meant to be just a metaphorical saying.
I think what you want to say is maybe the holy ground.
For example, you know, Kalaris is greeny pastures, whereas I wouldn't really.
It's grassy pastures. Don't disrespect it. It's grassy pastures, Imperium. Okay. Okay, Imperium, look, we looked at that last game. I said I wanted to be nitpicky. I couldn't be nitpicky about Alpha 7. I'm going to be nitpicky on the desk, okay? It's how it goes. It's how it goes, okay? Just deal with it, take it, okay? It's not going to happen too often unless Alpha 7 rage or you get another chicken dinner. It's how it is.
Okay. Grassy pastures. Either way, Group 3, so Group C, should I say. That means my point with that, though, is that we still have Influence Rage with that game in hand. So as much as I don't expect them to really think about that, I would like them to, that they do have that extra game in hand. So it's important that they continue to try to create a little bit of a bigger cushion, because that one game that they're not playing, in which VIVO keyed and Alpha 7 will be, is essentially right 3 points for Alpha 7 and VIVO Keith. So it's just something for Influence Rage to think about. I know in technically a finals scenario that wouldn't really be the case, so there's not as 100% of a replication we're seeing right now. You have to adapt, and Influence Rage need to be aware that they do have that game where they're not going to be participating.
Yeah, that's where you want to see them capitalize on every single point they might be able to get for themselves. But right now, this is our first game of the day Imperium, where our top 3 are going to be in the same game, in the same lobby, on the same map, in the same plane, as the plane is going to be high up in the sky. And ready to see how these teams are going to drop. And from what I'm seeing right now, it's pretty southern plane path, except for the western side. Otherwise, going to be ending around the side of Novo / Milton Power. So you've got to be a little bit aware if you like to drop a little bit further north, which there are quite a few that like to go. Yes, Naya Stolber. Secondary drop could be an option, or you just pick up a few cars towards sheltered position and then instantly roll up to your spot. A lot of things are possible for these teams to go around, but man, I have the impression today's been by like a flash. And I did not expect that, knowing we have only Wrangles and only Miramar. I thought today was going to be a very slow, chill, and a long day. But man, the action has definitely kept me raring to go anytime.
One thing that I've noticed with today's games, and maybe this is me being a little bit harsh, maybe it's teams are trying different things, but I kind of feel like we've seen a few too many kind of what looks like tier 2 mistakes from teams. I don't say that in a massively disrespectful way, but just little fundamental things not being utilized, not being done when it comes to whether it's rotations, engagements, just the smaller things. I don't know if this is a full-on typical example, but Alpha 7 going up against LOTUS. Yeah, it's.
I mean, the issue is being a tier 2 team is not to be a tier 2 team, but it's to remain a tier 2 team. So, for example, LOTUS, currently maybe one that we would refer to as a tier 2 right now, but they can clearly improve and work on it. That's the thing. If they're able to improve in the future and climb up the ladder and make it into tier 1, that is all we can hope for these guys. Though, we're definitely... Oh, no, he's going to go for the punch hit. No, Wolves! How dare you! He's going to do it. There you go. See you later. Sleepy night. He's going to take a good nap, Swagger, and that's for sure. And Cadio trying to get some vengeance from afar, but to no avail, apparently. Are they going to get the car and just gun it because they're so comfy in the top 3? They already got themselves 4 eliminations, but I don't think they are. I don't think they will.
No, on this side, no. I don't know. I don't want to hold that against LOTUS on a side note, because I don't think Alpha 7 were expected to drop there. With it being, I suppose, a more southerly heavy plane path, rotating anyway up that north without full-on clarity of direction and not being caught out, it did hold that risk. Phase 1 pops up, and it looks like we're heading towards a military island finish. XSET rotating very early into the military island on its souls, hanging around the farm area, maybe looking for a bit of a bridge camp. Team QUESO, they're looking to bridge camp against Nova.
Whoa, disgusting headshot from Zifan. Even going for a little one tap. 6 skin, by the way, I want to say. I think we should praise skins of players from time to time a little bit more, because they spent money on those, so we've got to say, hey, you know what, looking good, looking sharp. Unlike me, because clearly I don't get anything I want.
Can I praise your skin?
You know what? I put some cream on today, so you actually can if you want. I've actually put some cream to take care of my face and everything. So yeah, thanks. It's look good.
Yeah, nice. Your face is looking very smooth today, Max. It's looking very nice.
Thank you. Oh, you're so nice. Oh my god. Wow.
Oh yeah, my god. So, BULUC, they're just trying to be aware. The Chosen are a little bit to north. You have Delta Stars in Pachinki. This was less of a bridge camp from Team QUESO, something I kind of realized, and more of a, both teams had the same idea of rotating kind of across that western bridge and hold on to controlling position. Unfortunately for Team QUESO, Nova got there first and were able to get a bit of a stranglehold spot. Means Team QUESO down to 2 players. XSET looking to formate themselves up to take a fight against LAZARUS on the eastern side, as you can see on the mini map, while Honor Soul still continue to hold on to that eastern bridge camp. I want to see some variability from some teams. Botations, who's going to head on towards the very southern side of the military island? Who's going to hold on to that coastal line of the mainland, right? The area in which I forget exactly who it was that pulled it off all the time, but that coastal line of the mainland position on this kind of circle is perfect. Even sending one person across the water onto the beach line of the military island is even better, in my opinion. So far, nobody's there.
Yeah, the one thing I'm just hoping to not see is going to be that cork effect happening on the bridges, right? We've seen that happen way too many times, unfortunately, and I think the team should be a lot more prepared and ready to go for, as you mentioned, right, the botation. It's a very valid option. It's not like a... I don't know, I have the impression that botation have that stigma to it, which is, it's seen in a negative light, but I don't know why you would think so. It's a viable strat that gets you into a position where, while avoiding to take fights, it's completely cool. But I think there's a little bit of stigma to it, which feels really weird. I'm not sure.
It's not so much that there's a stigma, but to really put a good botation, you need to have the timing perfect. Because compared to being in a vehicle, compared to being on foot, when you're in that boat, you got technically nowhere else to go. Yeah, you can jump out of the boat into the water, but even then, it's slow to move. You're a little bit lost, right? So I think that's where the stigma per se comes from, and fortunately teams just at times just don't seem comfortable enough to go for botations.
Well, there you have it. That's Bye peeking around, but didn't have his team in position. Surprised he actually was willing to go for it. I think he was looking for an opening frag, and you never know, maybe his team would be willing to join up on the action. Team QUESO losing Bye and kind of instantly Ayala and Nitsu remaining. Or the ESS shot. Ooh, actually
no
I think there was a headshot at one point, but very good. No, wait, no way he confirms that. Yeah, with the VSS, I mean, he doesn't know exactly where the shot's coming from, so it makes it a little bit harder to actually hide away. And unfortunately, the main issue with the VSS, right, is the ammo count. That makes it very hard to actually try and confirm those instantly. He's reloading constantly right now, which is losing him a lot of precious time to apply pressure on Delta Stars. And the other player, which is currently Nitsu, is towards, I believe, the gas station on the crossroad section.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think this is really going to go anywhere, unfortunately, for Team QUESO.
I gotta say, overall though, good play by Delta Stars. They pushed in as a full squad onto that building, and I think they were aware coming into that spot there that there could be a team in that building. They obviously wouldn't have known how many players were there, if it was going to be a full team or not, but the fact that they sent it in as a full team meant that there was just as much security as possible of winning that fight. Now, they're going for the push onto Ayala.
Oh, wow. Also having to play in the background, just making sure he can't peek above on the top of the roof. That was actually not too shabby from Delta Stars. Really enjoyed that one, though. He's going to be peeking around. You've got to be careful. You're showing yourself, Ayala. How do you get away with that one? Not too sure myself, but Fragger's trying to get it. But Nitsu gets rid of the off angle. That's going to give a lot more breathing space to Ayala. He's going to try and go for the, not first aid. He's only got 5 bandages, actually, so a little bit of a tough nut to crack. He wants Nitsu to join up, which he is trying. He's trying to run his way closer and closer. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a car. If he had a car, this would be so much easier.
No way!
Nice. Ayala, you're being so damn OP right now. Gonna hide once again. If he wants to buy time, he could go into the attic if he really wanted. But no, waiting on the side, on the position where his teammates are going to come from.
Ayala.
Yeah, he's on a perfect
This
position
is
where
so
he's on the
good.
other side, and it allows Nitsu to join up while being relatively safe. That's it. There they are. That's going to give them enough time to go for a res. Delta Star's going to back up. One nade's going to be exchanged. He's got a first aid. He was thrown his way. Nicely done. That's why you love teammates. They hold the loot for you. They're like an extra backpack with legs. This looks good. Nades one's getting exchanged. Not going to be able to get the amount of impact Delta Stars were hopefully expecting. It's a long one. so far, Ayala has been saving this fight tooth and nail for his team.
I don't think INTZ has done as good of a job as he probably should be doing. I understand that he's trying to hold that low ground, but I think they're at the point where they need to really take that fight. They allowed the revive to come through. I'd like to see INTZ maybe flank around on that low ground, do a bit of a better angle, because right now he's not really doing much. Lovely smoke's being thrown out. Ayala is going to be pushing forward. FPP mode, switches around. This is what I want to see from INTZ, but he gets knocked.
Pushing over to win the trade, a play on the left. You see with that third person perspective. Oh no, Ayala blocks himself on side of the door. That's it. Man, really respect to Ayala.
Yeah.
Sure, they do not win it out.
Yes.
But respect to Ayala. That was really good tries for a long period of time. He was literally in a 1v4. INTZ did give him a lot of time by being able to get that knock onto Fraggers. There was literally the off angle stopping him from playing that rooftop to the full extent of his that was available for that rooftop play. But you know what, Ayala, a lot of respect. I think INTZ could have maybe got there a little bit sooner if he had a car, but without a car, it does make the whole situation a lot harder to deal with.
Okay, so phase 2 popped up and it went northeast. Still, a good chunk of the mainland is in play. I still see it going towards Military Island, but I get why teams are not really committing. INTZ did rotate to that mainland coastline position. They have a lovely spread and a 2-2 split. It's great to see the Chosen. Not a bad split, but I think it's a little bit more isolated. Honored Souls, who are a little bit to the east, are also in a much more comfortable spread compared to the Chosen. But I also like that Black Dragons, who landed in Military Island, they've gone to the very northern side of Military Island. They're going to have a little bit of informational access onto the likes of the Chosen, onto the likes of Honored Souls. They'll have a little bit more of an idea, depending on the next circle, kind of how exactly they want to really bear into the circle.
Yeah, that's going to be the coastal line play you mentioned at the very start of the stream, right? Oh, well, not the stream, sorry, of this game in particular. Which some teams will see. There's going to be Goji that is already swimming across, which I do not know what to really think of that play. Not a huge fan of it, unless he's just trying to scout in the water, which is a very original way to scout.
I was just going to say, it is, mate. It's original. Yeah. It's a bit bold, but I get the theory behind it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just want to know what the thought process is. If the thought process is not to cross, but just to scout from the water, then fair. I haven't really seen a lot of water scouting. I think I've barely even seen any. So, yeah, if that's the plan for the Chosen, original, love to see that. So, this next circle is about to move around. Where's it going to go? Is it going to go to the mainland, or is it going to go towards Sovnovka? Sovnovka it is, but still with a pretty decent amount of water, about 20% water. That's not going to be really playable unless you're INTZ. You can still remain on the mainland Imperium and put some pressure on teams trying to cross around you. INTZ could be a real thorn in the side of so many of the teams up north.
No. Oh my god, it's very risky for INTZ. They're actually looking to disengage, which I do overall disagree. I think it is a bit too late for them to send themselves across onto the Military Island, because swimming across, that does take a little bit longer time, and within the time it takes for them to swim across, I think they will lose a bit of control. Matthias is swimming across. That's a bit bold, but the rest of the team doesn't look like they want to do that. And ESTORM, they've got a knock. It's been returned. ESTORM might have a bit of control on their side.
I mean, Goji being scouting in the water for the longest time, he's going to be able to feed that info over to the rest of his team, so you never know what they can really do of it. That's it, though. ESTORM, hey, they've been a little bit more aggressive. They've been waking up. Throughout today, I am enjoying what I've seen so far. We'll see if they can try and actually aim for a top 5 this game. Would be great. Moving out, a lot of teams are going to try and make their way into the circle now, and one of those is going to be VIVO. Kido going to have to cross that road. I believe are going to get gate kept not by one, but 2 teams in the name of Delta Stars and Nova. VIVO Kid, if you know the teams over there, I would just go in the water. I would not even try and cross that bridge, because that bridge is an absolute death trap.
That was so weird by INCO, by the way. Sending one player across and then the rest of the team disengaging away from the coastline. It just, to me, was a big lack of communication or just overall a lack of direction on how they really wanted to play their position inside the circle. And they got caught with their pants down as well by ESTORM sending it in. Good aggression. I'm noticing an evolution from ESTORM. They are starting to look to take more fights.
Oh, damn, I was okay. Damn, I was caught off breath. I was thinking back to the play of Alpha 7. It's like, oh, I'm choking up. But there you go, Goji tried to climb his way back up. He had some success in wall climbing, but unfortunately no success when it comes to taking that fight. And ESTORM, that's an extra easy elimination that they're going to be taking for granted. Up to 5 so far. And step out as a 4-man crew. Hey, ESTORM have a chance of making things work out, and they are exactly in the position that we mentioned we wanted to see INCO stay in. Fortunately, INCO and Thirst already crossed that riverside, so we'll see what they can really make of it. I don't think they're maybe going to get too many eliminations because the whole Northern rotate's all pretty much done and dusted, except for the Chosen. So at least their rotation across the riverside, if they swim, shouldn't be too hard because there's not really many teams that are going to gatekeep that Northern coastal side.
XSET in a great position coming into the end of the circle. 4-man spread on the high ground. The circle does shift up towards the northeast. Still, of course, the main military island is in play. The coastline position is the place to be with Black Dragons holding on to a 3-1 split. But Influence Rage, who've raged into the eastern side of the circle. They took out one of the Alpha 7 players, I might add. Still a full squad up. Now the true test is in front of them.
Yeah, the real test is going to be Black Dragon, though. They are not there as a 4-man so far, so they can have a little bit of a weak spot that they're going to try to enter, but oh no, you sneaky devil. Elite just
that can't work out.
Side. Man, he's already playing next update. He's already playing with like the new updated bridge. He's playing the sidelines. Should not normally be possible. Theo peeks around, that's one. And McGrellin instantly changes course, jumps over the side. Trying to dance around those bullets.
Where's the rest of Delta Stars?
Why did they not speed?
Why are the rest of Delta Stars shooting? There you go.
Yeah, there was only Elite that was really holding down the fort here. They're going to try and escape around the side. Oh my god, disgusting shots from Elite there. Get done. They able to track it down like an absolute pro. But now there's only one player there. Engulfed in the blue zone. Going for the heal off is not going to be possible really anymore. And man, Elite. Impressive stuff. I'd love to see. I want to see more of it.
And considering they're a team that haven't really been too aggressive, I thought, although really like not a major tier 1 move to do, Bridge Camp this late into the game, the fact that it was done with purpose, Delta Stars deserve a lot of respect for that. And they've been able to take down 3 of the VIVO Key players. It's rare we see VIVO Key kind of being caught out. They were hook, line, and sinkered across that bridge. Now the circle does start, or the blue zone starts to close in, and Delta Stars need to start moving. So therefore, they get moving. But have they lost their position inside the circle because they hung around that bridge camp for so long? That's why I said it wasn't quite like a tier 1 move, bridge camping this late into the game.
Talking about tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 and everything, if we compared ourselves to the teams, we'll be like tier 67. You know, we'll be way down 69? There. Okay, so. Hey man, okay, I didn't want to look. 69, special occasions only. Okay, I only want to use the number when it's the right moment.
Birthdays, yeah.
Yeah, but that. You know what? I just realized that sounded really weird the way I brought it up. But you know what? Hey, it was not intentional. Sorry for that one, guys. Though. Which is a position of some of these teams, and Black Dragons in particular looking absolutely amazing on that little plateau area. Really good when it comes to gathering information, but the main issue with that is going to be the amount of teams gunning for that position, which I can tell you right now as a fact is going to be quite a fair few. So Black Dragons better hold on tight, because this is not going to be too good of a ride. It's going to be a pretty rocky ride, actually, though. Boat was spotted away. And Nova Esports still as a 4-man. They're looking for a potential double chicken dinner today.
And this was always going to be the issue with ESTORM, kind of hang around the coastline as long as they did. I don't hold it against them, but I think it just limits them to kind of a top 3 rather than the chicken dinner. Black Dragons prioritizing the center of the circle is a good thing. They have allowed Influence Rage to stay on the eastern side. And as the next circle has shifted up, they do have a player inside the anchor point down on the low ground. The hill above is sorry, not the hill above, but the hill to the west is held onto Nova. Black Dragons, they can't give up that eastern hill, because if they do, Influence Rage will have free reign on them from above.
Well, you said it, and they deliver. Unfortunately, on the opposite side of what you wanted, because they completely abandoned the eastern side. Martin is going to be chased down by players of Influence Rage. And yeah, that's the main issue here, because Influence Rage, they instantly see that opportunity, and it's Influence Rage, right? We expect good things. This is the gift that keeps on giving. And Influence Rage just see an opportunity, they see a weakness spot, and they strike exactly where they need to. So, yeah, got to be very careful. I think the Black Dragons are definitely going to have a run for their money here.
The only thing they have towards them is that Nova technically could third party and shoot at Influence Rage from the other side. So I don't think it's the worst idea from Black Dragons, but I highlighted the risks. Let's see what happens.
See how things are going to go down. Here we go. Things are heating up on the more southern eastern side. Well, XSET, I like it. They're not fully capitalizing to the push towards Lazarus / Delta Stars. They're actually trying to put their eggs in different baskets, sending players to the high ground down south. A lot of things are happening right now for XSET. We'll see which one is going to be able to find more success than the other, if any, in the first place. There you go, Influence Rage. We're going to be seeing a little bit more movement, some use of utility, maybe looking to make their way and pick up some speed as they try and breach in the compound of Black Dragons. And here we go, it's D-Day for them. They're going 1-2 players onto the forefront while keeping Law onto the background, trying to keep the up angle, but no
no
the up angle is lost. ESTORM take him down, and now they lose that background opportunity. Influence Rage are pushing this naked now, and the nades are coming in strong. That's one onto Little Boy, Kowski and Federal remaining, but Federal, we know that this guy can actually do, but even having some more action on the southern side. Lazarus going to abandon their small little shed for the time being, going to try and make that cross over the road. It has some decent amount of success for some time, but unfortunately, he doesn't go a very, very long way. J-Way still there with his teammate trying to get it done, and they get it done indeed. Delta Stars eliminated in 8. 5 eliminations so far for XSET, still as a 4-man crew.
Oh, Federal, Black Dragons, it's not over yet. Federal, once he has a bit of breath inside him, he will fight until the bitter end. As ESTORM are going to encapsulate the hill above, so the third party is true. It's towards the corner. Federal clutches against Black Dragons.
Well. Just a few HP is all he needs, and he's going to clutch it up. And in strong fashion once more. Adrian gets spotted away. No glasses will save you of a bullet to the back, unfortunately. It would be great if they invented one, but I'm pretty sure that that is above our current capabilities as humanity goes on. XSET also, though, going to be moving on to their next destination, which is going to be across the road. Not an easy position to get to, though. A lot of teams like Nova, INTZ, final player. INTZ, hey, you know what? He survived, intriguing enough. Federal, a little bit too much was sent his way, so not going to go any further than that top 3. There we go, 3 teams remaining. Nova still up there. They are trying to breach into the top 3 at some point in time. They're going to require a big day here, Imperium, and this is the type of games we want to see from them if they hope to make in top 3 at the end of the event.
It's not over yet. Nova technically have the circle, they have the full squad, they have the control. Even Zfan on the off angle outside the circle, although he's far away, still an accurate place to be.
I think this is a little bit of a risky 2-2 split that we saw, and yeah, talking about that, XSET going to be losing one of their players. Kill switch though, able to assist from afar, lucky enough. But I don't think this is going to be enough for them to actually take the fight. Walls took himself a 1v1 currently in the smokes with very minimal information, gets peeked above the car, able to get it back, and a drop shot was so close. I thought it was going to connect, but Polo G was mightier at the end of it all. He gets it done. He might even get himself the res to take himself a 4v3. But yeah, Nova currently definitely has himself a huge advantage, and Koi currently undetected, sneaking his way on the 2 players of XSET, but as a solo. So you definitely don't want to make any noise, otherwise that advantage is instantly going to be lost.
I love that XSET didn't commit to that fight as a full squad. Having J-Way in the off angle was strong, not only as a defense, but presuming they won the fight, which they did, holding the angle against one of the Nova players. Nova know this. Yeah, okay, they have the body advantage, but being aware, it will slow them down just a little bit and crashing into the compound in which XSET hold down.
I love this position from Koi. They're making noise on top of the little plateau right up front. And that's going to be taking 100% of the focus of XSET. Well, that rooftop play, I would not recommend it, Kill Switch. I would not recommend it. Can I even make it?
No.
I'm not even sure. If you can, you definitely don't want to play because you're instantly going to be shut down during that leap up animation. Making a lot of noise. Koi definitely knows where they are. He's hearing a bunch of footsteps. I think he's trying to also get the numbers. He's like, okay, 2 players up. While only having 1 more on the more southern side, and the circle goes dead center this time. It's going to be forcing them forward and right into the loving arms of Koi. He's just waiting for his time to strike. He is going to be the thorn in the side of XSET, and this is such a good spot. I love how Nova are playing this. It's so good from start to finish.
Communication, timing, and a little bit of luck are the 3 magic ingredients required for XSET to take this game away from Nova. The communication and the timing with J-Way, with the 2 players in the compound. If you push at the right time, J-Way can be the distraction, and it might allow that opening. That's why I said the bit of luck is involved, but J-Way gets caught out. Koi takes away the off angle.
Okay, he takes the off angle. That's big. Is that more valuable than him being spotted away and losing that surprise factor? I think it is more valuable, actually. That off angle being lost is huge. Kill switch. Knocks down Polo G. What was that? Big miscommunication currently happening, and now it's down to Kill Switch solo and gets completely overwhelmed. Man, the nade that throws it away. It happens to the best of us, but not in these type of moments. But Nova, they initiate the ascent towards that top 3. They want to make it up there towards the very end. And it's not off strong. Was their first chicken dinner of the day.
Yeah, but I just don't want to include them in the run for the top 3 just yet. Not after one good game, because let's be fair, Influence Rage also had a decent game. Alpha 7, yeah, okay, not the best game, but they came off the back of a massive 32-point chicken dinner. VIVO Kid, although they got bridge camped, they didn't have the absolute worst game in the world. So I see where you're coming from, but one game is not going to be enough. It does not convince me just yet that Nova is going to be in the fight for the top 3.
The reason why I said that is because they had themselves also a pretty decent last game. So I am seeing some consistency, some momentum being built up by them. So of course, as if they retain that consistency, that's where the possibility will be there. But otherwise, it's definitely not going to be an easy one. And also, you need the top teams to have bad games, which, hey, in the top 3, none of our top 3 teams were actually up there. So you never know. That could be the perfect lineup that Nova needed to have that final push towards these last few days to make it top 3. We'll see, though. ESTORM had himself a really good game. I believe at the end they finished off on like 9 or double-digit eliminations. So really good from them. As you saw that big push from Nova. And yeah, we talked about it. The positive and the negative potentially of Koi going for the spray to lose that off angle. I think losing the off angle for XSET, it just takes the eyes away for the entirety of the team, and then it just blindfolded the reminder of the game. So that one shot from Koi was super, super valuable because the loss of information was huge on the side of XSET.
I love this game from ESTORM. I would argue this was their best game so far of the America's Elite League. I thought they committed massively to that coastline position, even though obviously swimming across in the end wasn't as beneficial. It's the fact that they played with purpose. It's the fact that they knew what they wanted to do and they pulled it off. They weren't afraid to take a risk. Same with Delta Stars on that bridge camp. It might not have worked out in the long run, but I appreciate and I respect the fact that they stuck to what they wanted to do. There was no like, oh, what do we do? Where do we go? How are we going to play this? They were just like, look, we're bridge camping. This is what we're going to do. And it worked out for them. So big props to both ESTORM and Delta Stars. 2 teams that, to be fair, would be very critical of at times.
Yeah, I mean, I think tough love. Okay, it's going to be coming up. Tough love indeed, though, looking at the stats of this game. 10 eliminations, 7+ reses, so really good consistency. And man, seeing the position that they had at the end of that game, I thought for sure they were going to have an insane amount of utility, but man, they just aim for the prize, aim for the strong position. Only 3 nades and 4 smokes. That is such a low amount, seeing how of an open area finish that actually was in the circle. But really, other than Delta Stars and what was it, Viva Kid, I think, entering the western side of the circle, there was very little amount of competition. So pretty easy access for them over to that plateau. So the amount of utility is not too surprising for me. But the 234 heal off shows to me, at least Imperium, that they took fights and they just did not lose. They were just not losing every single engage they took until the very bitter end.
Yeah, and again, they were pretty much the. And it's great to say this, and it's great that this proves to be the case. The first 2 teams over across from the mainland to Military Island were Nova and XSET. And they were in our top 2. It just proves that rotating early and really understanding when is the right time to move across when you have an initial Military Island circle makes a big difference. And it can be the reason why you win the game or at least get a massively strong result.
Yeah, QZ, though, going to be our top frag of the game here. Was a total of 6 walls. Close behind, it was 5 for the side of ESTORM. Going to be seeing a little bit of every single team. Going to have a little bit of XSET with Polo G, a little bit of also Influence Rage with Federal, which I was looking at the chat from the Brazilian stream, and man, that name has never been spammed that much, I think, in a long time. So that game is definitely a big pop-off for him. And QZ also going to be the top damage of this game, as you could potentially expect, though. Hey, having a play of ESTORM doesn't happen every single day. Sure, it's in terms of top assists, but Ken FB is going to be up there, always good to see. A little bit of kindness too, with the longest distance knock coming out was 281 meters. So yeah, we're always seeing a little bit of everyone. A little bit of Nova, a little bit of Influence Rage, a little bit of ESTORM. Always good to see some versatility towards our top stats here. But there you have it. That's it for us, ladies and gentlemen, for our 3rd game of the day. We're just over halfway done with day 7 of the America's Elite League Season 3 so far. We still got 2 more games remaining. But as we said, we're just zooming by these games so fast because these games are just so damn good. And I'm hoping the Game 4 and Game 5 are going to be just as good. We'll know the answer to that question right after the break.
Hello? Vous êtes bien chez Julien Fournier Rock Couture. Love is magic. Metaverse is amazing.
Well, not gonna lie, I was a little bit scared after these last few games. I was like, you know what, Brazil just running away with the lead, get himself chicken dinner after chicken dinner, but no, NA still have it in them, try and get these wins, and hopefully have at least one NA team in the name of Nova make it in our top 3. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again for another game here of the America's Elite League. My name is Max, man, still with Imperium to bring you the action that's been going on so far, and indeed we have some great action going on today, and I said it, I'm hoping that we're going to be just on par on that side, at least for our next 2 games. 1 Miramar, 1 Wrangle remaining, and then we only have 1 more day of play remaining. Man, this tournament, the America's Elite League Season 3, has been by in a flash. And who's going to be first place? The question is still there, man. We still have no idea or that damn close.
Yeah, for sure. And coming into this 4th game, it's going to be Group B. Not playing? No, Group D. Damn, I got it wrong. Damn. What? Group D. I thought it was Group B. Okay, I made a mistake. Okay.
Was it an imposter I was casting with until now? Like the. What's going on?
I know. Well, either way, that means Delta Stars, XSET, Nova, and Lotus not competing in this 4th game. And you know, I know Nova aren't playing in this 4th game, but I really do understand where you're coming from of Nova continuing to chase for this top 3 and why you kind of say what you say and maybe have a little bit more belief than I initially did, because they are currently the highest point scoring team of the day, and even across the last 2 days together they're the 2nd highest performing team with a total of 94 points in 8 games. That's like a super healthy average. It's just unfortunate that even though the highest point scoring team today with 39 points, Alpha 7 36, Vivo Key 26, Influence Rage 33, it's just not enough of a gap closer from Nova so far. Now they will still have 1 more game, but that's just something to highlight. Yes, they're performing well. Yes, they're overall being consistent. They're just not getting all of the points. They're not really pushing back Alpha 7, Influence Rage, and Vivo Key.
You're grinding my gears, Imperium. Come on, give it to them. They're gonna make it. Come on, I have hope. You know what? If I want to believe in something, I want to believe in Nova's capacity of making in top 3. But that means if they're making top 3, that means you need one of our top 3 teams to drop off, and it seems so unlikely. But I want to have hope. I want to have hope, Imperium, so I'm going to keep on dreaming.
Oh, yes.
That day is going to happen. I mean, that day. I mean, it's happening or today or tomorrow. So I mean, it's definitely not today because there's only 1 game remaining for them. But you know what? We'll see tomorrow how things are going to go. And otherwise, we'll see how this game 4 is also going to go down, as we're going to be back on Miramar for the last time of the day. We're also going to be having a healthy amount of Miramar tomorrow. If I'm not mistaken, tomorrow we're going to have like... How many are we going to have?
3 Miramar?
We're going to have like 3 Miramars, 2 Wrangles. I believe that's going to be the rotation. So a lot of Miramar. We'll see if Minis Generalis is going to be as full as it was in the past, even though Nova's not here. But let's give tomorrow that's going to be the case.
Obviously, that Eastern plane path, a little bit similar to the previous Miramar game, allows for the likes of Lazarus and Alpha 7 to drop around the Torre Almada area of the map. Hopefully phase 1 will be on the eastern side, as it tends to be in terms of the meta of the PUBG Mobile Circle algorithm. It's not so much on the east, but it isn't really on the west. It's a very centralized phase 1. Ridiculously. What are you laughing at this time?
It's not really over to the east, but it's not really over to the west. It's what we call center. It's a center. It's the middle.
Yeah. Well, you know, I might as well try and sound fancy when I'm saying it.
Not really north, but you know, it's not really south. You know, it's kind of middle, isn't it?
Yeah. You know. Oh my God, I'm just not going to talk anymore. That's fine. It's fine.
Oh well, let's go though. Here we go. Shot. Whoa. Okay. Good morning. And good night. That's it. Iala sent straight back. That was very insulting, man. You didn't knock on the door. They don't teach you that. Come on.
It's not quite morning. It's not quite night. It's midday.
It's high noon. As said by an infamous video game character. Thou, the name shall not be said anymore. But yes.
Who said it?
Oh, I do not want to say his name on broadcast, so I'll write it in the chat.
Okay.
Let's not
Okay.
say it.
Okay, no. Even though I have no idea why you don't want to say that, to be honest. But either way, ATON, Black Dragons, both in Los Leones, they should most likely avoid each other. Black Dragons do have all of the north side that they can push on to, heading towards La Bandita, for example, whereas ATON 7 might look to continue to shift over on the western side and then move in between Picado and La Bandita area. We'll have to wait and see.
Have to wait and see, but I want to see some good action for sure. Potentially even power grid positions could be interesting. Currently going to be held down by VIVO Keys, so they got themselves a very healthy early split. A lot of information is going to be coming their way, so no big issue for them. Yeah, otherwise, no hot drops because, of course, we do not have Nova, so Minis Generalis is going to be for free over to the boys of Loops. But not Graveyard, apparently, as INTZ are going to be roaming in, and that's going to be one knock coming in, and Nenebete going to be bleeding out to his death. Yeah, first elimination for INTZ already. Okay, yeah, we have some breathing time. I'm not used to this.
Like, I love the fact that, like, Loops finally have Minas Generalis to themselves, and they disengage in some way, shape, or form. Like, not fully, but they're like, no, we're on our own. We'll actually split up. I know it kind of worked out for them, but it's just funny to see that, you know, surely if you're on your own, that you should just stay in Minas. Loot up every single inch of it. Why do you have the chance to like, finally, we can loot up the whole building, the whole area. We will take everything from Minas. We'll take everything. But on a little bit more of a serious note, based on the phase 1, I really appreciate the fact that Loops have separated and that they have looked to control a good area by moving a little bit to the west towards Graveyard. That's good proactivity.
I think Loops are just overwhelmed with joy right now. They're like, we actually got weapons. we actually got something to fight with. Oh my god, we don't have just toothpick to throw at our enemies anymore. We actually got guns with bullets. Oh my god. This is the best day in their life.
There existed a gun other than the Winchester.
Hey, don't diss my man Winchester. Okay, my man Winchester is a sick gun, especially if they hit headshots like they did 2 games ago. Okay, pretty sick.
Hey, look. I'm not dissing it, but it's not most players' first choice of gun. That's all I'm saying.
I thought you liked the Winchester. Like you were singing sprays a few weeks, months ago.
Yeah, it's just not players' first choice of gun. That's it. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Saying.
Just calm down. Okay, I think this conversation is getting a little bit heated right now in PO. You're talking behind the back of the Winchester when it cannot even fight back. I think this is just going to become a bit longer right there.
Didn't mean to shout. Sorry, I didn't mean to shout. Didn't mean to raise my voice. Influence Rage, this is their last game of the day, by the way, so they need to make a count. They're not playing in Game 5. On a side note, actually, that's an important note, an important thing to know for tomorrow, with it being the last day. Influence Rage will not be playing the final game. Again, that's why I kind of touched upon creating as much of a cushion. So things could get very heavily pressurized leading into tomorrow's first 4 games and what Influence Rage are going to need to do. I would argue, and I know this might sound really stupid, but it might be worth them hot dropping on Alpha 7 or Vivo Keyed in tomorrow's games. I know you don't like hot drops. I know.
I like hot drops. But there's this one is one where I think it does make sense. I do not think that it would be worthwhile. Yeah.
I get that. I get that. But I also would love to see it.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I would love to see it, but how many times have we got to a situation where we said, oh, a hot drop would be so good, and if it works out, it would be amazing. Which, yes, it would be amazing, but the big issue with that is the if, right? The moment you decide to commit to a 50-50 drop, of course, if the team is aware, it's a 50-50 chance of winning the fight. And
true.
That's a
true, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, Max. To give you something as a bit of an example, heal strats in Sanhok didn't happen straight away. It developed with the meta, right? And the competitive meta, when it comes to hot drops, isn't there because people are afraid to try it. So as soon as more players maybe look to try it, then it might work out. If that makes sense, it might become more within the meta. I think that's you know, I hope that's the case.
I'm surprised. You had a great opportunity there to bring up the law of percentages, but you know what, I didn't do it. But 50-50, I would not take those chances, especially with a team that being that consistent. I think that they have a way better chance to make it over to the top 3 more than anything. But here we go. We'll see some Alpha 7 downward spiral. They're going to be able to get himself back up though, just fine, get himself ready. 2 eliminations. This is like a very normal Miramar start for Alpha 7, picking up a few eliminations here and there, picking up the pieces. So, a little bit of action towards La Bandita position here. South La Bandita is going to be a rise, countering some players of Furious Gaming. I believe, yeah, it's going to be Furious Gaming. Milovan in particular, 777, pushing up. I think we heard a few footsteps there, so the strat is not going to work out, my friend. They're dropping down, Rise trying to get the information. Ooh, Mufasa stayed on the low HP for quite a long period of time. Can he crawl his way back inside? And he does make it just fine. Still a chance for Rise to survive as a 4-man crew. Not sure if Furious Gaming are going to give that one for free.
Black Dragons, unfortunately, they're a little bit too heavily split, so there's no full opportunity to third-party this fight between both of these teams. Furious Gaming do have a couple of angles in play that they're able to utilize against the Furious Gaming players. I don't agree with Rise fully going for the revive onto Mufasa, because I think it might just kind of allow Furious to blanket around them. I would like to have seen a second knock come out onto Furious Gaming before they look to commit to that revive. As it happens, it's worked out for the time being. Phase 2's popped up. My man, it's centered once again. Mikado Hill and Power Grid. I look at those as being the kind of core areas of this Phase 2. I know that Mikado Hill is pretty vast, so it can hold multiple teams, but it's still a very important part of this circle.
Oh, whoa, what's happening over here? Oh, okay, well, hello and goodbye. That's another one. Influence Rage was picking himself another, well, their first elimination of the game. Back onto the fight we were seeing happen with Rise and Furious Gaming. The one thing that scares me right now was a potential third party from Black Dragons that are lingering in the northern side of Los Leones. So that could be a really big issue for them. So hopefully they're going to be remaining aware of their surroundings for the time being. The Chosen, they're going to at least got information of where Influence Rage are. They're going to avoid crossing paths with them because Influence Rage is not a team you want to mess with too much, as I've proven already multiple times in this tournament.
I really see a player driving in FPP mode in TPP, because surely the benefit of like driving in TPP mode is obviously you're able to look around while you're driving. So that was something kind of interesting. I know he didn't drive for long, but it was still a bit of a risk because Opa has to take a bit of risk and disengage away from his burning vehicle.
That's the way. Opa, I want to see another clutch, man. I want to see another clutch that's going to be posted on Twitter. That's how good it is. You know a clutch is good when it's posted on Twitter. When it makes its own clip on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
It's a good 1v4. It's a good clip. It's a good clip. No good clip right now. Talking about clip, he's going to take one clip right to the face, and that's going to be Galaxy's clip. Boom, every single bullet connects on the target, and Influence Rage. No survivors allowed. Leave no survivors as they go for the push, and boom, that is going to be kill number 2.
Most people don't understand that the spectator perspective does not do justice of how good that kind of play is. How good that kind of solo, get out of the vehicle, turn, get, you know, aim in, scope in, take the shots. Like, that's all done within a hair of a millisecond. That's like, you know, not even thinking. That's subconscious level of play from Kowalski. It just does. It isn't done justice, unfortunately, and it's a joy to behold, and it's part of what's making, specifically when you look at Kowalski, it's part of what's making Influence Rage such a strong team in this America's Elite League.
Ooh, this circle's interesting. Normally when you have circles in each type of positions, there's a lot more north towards Hacienda del Patron / the east of San Martin, so It's going to be throwing a span in the works for some of these teams. A little bit of terrain differences. Here, instead of the last circuit, would be the northern side be very strong. Here's the southern side because of the high ground advantage. Black Dragons looking good.
Exactly.
Rise looking good. INCO Gaming looking very good. So there's a lot of opportunities, but south outside of the circle has got a lot of teams like Honored Souls, The Chosen, ATON. They're going to have to try and find an entry point inside the circle, and right now they're on the side where if they want to go straight in the circle, it would be through Picado, which they could make it. Influence Rage are looking over to the eastern side of Picado, so there is enough space for what could be one, if not two more teams in Picado itself, but do you really want to go there when you know the next phase is definitely not going to be on Picado itself? I would say that's a very bad gamble to go for. So I would just maybe slow down, wait for information to come my way, and make a better based decision later on instead of committing to Picado with very minimal information.
You know, I've been super praising of Influence Rage. I'm going to be a little bit critical. I don't like the fact that they're in Picado this late into Phase 3. Yes, they sent Kowalski a little bit more forward, but I think it's a recipe for disaster being inside Picado. That's on that southwestern edge of the circle. I feel like it's going to go horribly wrong for them.
I just got shivers down my spine. I'm scared. It's like a
Jesus
start of a
Christ.
scary movie. Damn.
But do you agree with me, or do you like disagree?
I do. Yeah. If I'm not joking around, yeah, I actually do agree. I'm just messing with you a little bit, but yeah, that's it. Oh man, I'm not even gonna. Whoa!
Oh,
Got it!
okay.
Whoa, man. He's just made a French crepe right there. Damn, he just made a French. Just great. Then. Sorry, I wish I could get rid of mosquitoes that way, but damn, they made it. It should be like a YouTube video of the how to eliminate mosquitoes.
Lemon, some sugar on that crate, and you've got yourself a damn good crepe.
You know what? I want crepes. It's cool because actually right next door I have a shop that makes crepes fresh every single day. So I can go there, pick them up, heat them up. I put my cheese, my ham, my egg.
I'm actually
so good.
In Ireland and UK, we have this day called Pancake Tuesday. That's coming up where we make pancakes. It's some kind of national tradition / celebration. So I will be making crepes / pancakes pretty soon.
Okay, I want to see pictures. We'll do a little competition if you're down for it. We'll see which ones look the best.
Oh my god! Yes.
Also, we'll see who's going to be looking the best over here. Some real competition. We'll see who's going to be getting the chicken dinner of crepes. Now, I don't know, it's a weird topic we got onto right there. I don't know how we got there in the first place. But you know what? Circle, though, is going to be getting into another place, though. It's going to be a pretty western shift, though. Pretty central, though. Picado, most of it's going to be out. So, Influence Rage now can remain there without really too much of an issue. I would not expect a team to really breach Picado at this point in time because it's not really a worthwhile gamble. So, it's okay. I would like to see him potentially go up top the mountain, just north of Picado, but because VIVO Kid has been there for the longest time, it's not really even an option. So I would just stay there, chill, and wait for the next phase.
I agree. ATON 7 doing a hell of a job of trying to be proactive and protective and push into the edge of the circle against the members of Black Dragons. The problem with this kind of circle as well, Max, is the dead center or a good chunk of the central area is very flat. So you're going to have teams prioritizing the edge of the circle. That means a lot of fights are going to ensue. Alpha 7, INCZ, Honored Souls, Rise, they're all going to be clamoring for the eastern edge of the circle.
It's on, here you go, the nade's thrown away. But Black Dragon's not going to be suffering the wrath of the utility just yet, apparently. Alpha 7, though, also going to get a little bit involved in the elimination feed as they're going to be able to see up northeast. Big fight actually happening northeast right now. Imperium is getting real sweaty up there. You got yourself Honored Souls after 7. You're going to have Rise Gaming. And who's going to have, I believe it's INTZ? Yeah, that's INCO. INTZ also involved in the great. No, I think it's is it INCO? Oh, it is INCO. Okay, it is INCO. I saw the IN and I just assumed it was INTZ. But yeah, Graveyard Fight is going to be raring to go. Oh, it is.
It actually is. My apologies, because there is a player from INCO in the backline, and they're both brown colored. So I thought it was INCO. My apologies. Sorry for cutting you off as well.
I know I got glasses recently, Imperium. Okay, but you don't have to diss me like that and say that what I'm seeing is wrong. Oh. No, it probably is a lot of the time, but not this time. So don't do that anymore. It's not cool. I got 20/20 vision, 20/22 vision, because my eyes are so good. So there you go on the bottom side. Carrillo knows exactly where he's staying. Sure, he gets knocked, but it's fine because he has his teammate. He has his bro. He's ready to back him up. He pats him on the back. Say, I got you, homie. You're good to go. Mufasa, though, is also good to go with that nade, apparently. That's one. Whoa! Okay, that nade is so hard to hit and to time, but it's an absolute span in the works, and Rise going to be scared from that a little bit. Like, okay, maybe not going to mess with that one too much. So Rafina's going to get Mufasa hopefully back up on his 2 feet.
I don't get Gary X being where he is. I think there's that disconnect a little bit from the members of Rise. It hasn't been too common, but it might mean they go down as Alpha 7 turn their attentions onto Honored Souls. The last player, he's going to get burnt too crisp. Down he goes.
Yeah, that's it. The Marley gets the final word apparently in that fight, though over to Rise once again. Mufasa again knocked out once more. Rafina and Garrix down to them, and the Molly's absolutely on point.
Yeah.
Utility.
Too late.
It's so good.
Oh.
So good usage of utility, but yeah, Rise, not much they can really do on the eastern edge here. So, operation, move out. That's exactly what Mufasa's going to try and do, and can get something much, not really.
Yeah, Garrix was just too late to move in. He was just too late to move in. And paid the ultimate price. Now he's still alive as the circle does shift up northwest, with Loops having the only compound in the circle. Now Vivo Key can hang on to the mountainside and towards the west, as they do currently have a big spread, but I look at this as being a Loops chicken dinner.
Yeah, I would compare Vivo Key to Dr. Manhattan right now, where they're just the all CNI of the lobby right now. They get all the information. I know I could say the Eye of Sauron, I think, is a done and done and done and done joke every single time, I guess. I'm trying to switch it up a little bit. You know, Dr. Manhattan, a little bit. It's a little different. Though fit around.
I don't get that reference.
Oh, okay. He's in like the DC comics, and he's a character that's like he was in an experiment, and basically he is at the same time he is everywhere. He is everything and knows everything. Is like. We'll talk about it during the break. I'll explain to give you some context.
Dr. Manhattan. He's like the Eye of Sauron.
I hate this comparison, but yes, he's basically a little bit like the Eye of Sauron, if you want. Okay, we'll see.
Cool.
I hate that comparison so much. You know, I have no idea. As the nerd I am, I do not like it. But ATON, here you go. Getting a little bit more involved on the more southern edge. It's going to be Thurus Gaming on the receiving end on the other side of the barrel. But for the time being, ATON just going to go for the heal off. Well, Frag is going to try and push down. ESTORM trying to move out of their own position, but Vivo Key, they've been waiting for this time. They've been gathering information from the very first few minutes of this game. So they're definitely prepared for the engage. They have the resources to take it head on, though. Can they take the fight head on? That's a question we're going to have answered for ATON very soon, taking that fight versus Furious. We lost knocked away down to 3. That's the second. Lucky 2, Chuko and Fran96. Will they be able to make enough of an impact to survive the southern edge fight? There's still Ragnar on the off angle for Black Dragon, and there's still Tiger Zin on the northern side for Furious Gaming. They're currently pinched. They might be able to get the res on one of their teammates.
Vivo Key, I said they had that kind of western side locked down, but I think they've allowed one too many teams to breach in on the edge of this hillside. They do still have, for the most part, that controlling position, as Adrian is going to be the point guard and the high ground above. Medeon chucking up a nade, looking for the golden nade into the arms of Vivo Key.
I cannot even express how good of a spot that is for Adrian. Literally, that is the saving grace for all of his team if he plays it correctly.
It's so good.
I mean, there's even Dego that gets knocked, but literally in a position like this, you're just not allowing ESTORM to do the play that would allow him to get in position, which is peak above that ridge. They cannot do it because he was there constantly getting the pressure down, and the Blue Zone's on their position too, and he just gave it, and he just moved away. He's like, yeah, okay, it's done. I've done enough. They couldn't peek. The team is done and dusted. Now we're going to start moving in because the time is of the hour, and seeing that right now, Vivo Key, the circle is not going to be on them right now. They need to try and make sure they clear the west versus BULUC CHABTAN and then move in against Alpha 7.
I think the reason why Adrian moved is because he heard the vehicles of Alpha 7 from behind. So he was like, I need to scout. I need to be aware. I need to give that information over to the rest of the team. So that was great proactive play from Vivo Key and specifically Adrian.
Well, look how we meet again, Imperium. We're in our top 5 teams, and guess who's up there? The top 3 is Alpha 7, it's Vivo Key, and it's Influence Rage. Not up here for no
Ridiculous.
reason. Actually, making a very good point right now. Oh, that could have been so satisfying. But you know what? Let's go down to the blue zone. That car was not in working shape and understandable enough.
No.
So that's it. Everything is lighting up, and now it's still down to 4. Influence Rage going to try and make that cross happen. That is a YOLO play and a half if I've ever seen one, and Law is just going to try and hopefully find a decent spot he can call home for the time being, but I don't really think there's a good option available for him. He's just forcing it into Vivo Kid. He jumps out. He finds a dip. And that's it. Revo going to try and get that elimination onto Jago. Vivo Kid explodes the car, and that's it. Law of Influence Rage is sent to the Netherrealm.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, but Vivo Key still left as a 3-person team. Honestly, the best thing they could have asked for. Loops, good third party. They have a couple of angles onto the players of Vivo Key. Alpha 7, they're ultimately extremely safe inside the circle.
Very safe indeed, but it depends on where the next circle is going to go. If it goes hard over to the east, it's going to be a 3-way race to try and get position in there.
Oh my god, Jesus. Revo.
It was a blind one from Revo. He didn't have any information. He just heard the footsteps and said, yep, you're over there. Boom, that's one. Going to go for Adrian 2. The eliminations are getting stolen away. That's Toiko of Loops getting it for himself. I mean, look at that top 3, and they're all Brazilian teams. Like, we had that fight we're asking, is going to be SA, is going to be Brazil, is going to be NA. Brazil just leaps and bounds above the rest of the lobby so far, and making a real statement that going into PMPL regional finals, like, they want to be the best teams in the region. Who's going to be the best teams between them all of the Brazilian region? We'll have to see right now. But Alpha 7 Loops and Vivo Kid, Cielo right in the middle of it, hoping maybe, if I'm lucky, they'll shoot above this little position that I've set up for myself. But I think they know as a fact that Cielo is there.
Well, Loops might not have tracked every aspect.
They don't know.
So they might think it's a 3v4.
They don't know. They have no idea. They just pass in front. Check the buggy behind him. Oh my god. Still 2 players of Loops. If they pass him by, that would be a godsend for him. He's in such a way where his feet's going to be very easily visible. A third-person perspective. He takes the shot. It's Revo! You must be kidding me. Cielo. Could be so good. He didn't see him. He looked right in his direction.
Take it on the cheek.
Get up. There you go. Take it. That's the double. No, he doesn't get it. Oh, man. He just looked at the left for so long and he lost the opportunity to get it. But Revo strikes once again while the iron is hot. And Loops are down to 1. That could have been so big for Vivo Key. That could have been an easy second place potentially at the end there. But no, not going to go right to the very end. Going to be shot from behind. Toiko is going to be surrounded by foes. And Alpha 7 make it happen once again with their double chicken dinner in day 7 here of the Americas Elite League. They just cannot be stopped. And Influence Rage dying a little bit earlier this game. Hey, that first place might go the way of Alpha 7 here.
This is the moment where you see the separation of the teams that have what it takes to absolutely crush it and win it, and the teams that are only kind of good enough for second and third place. I'm not saying that in terms of it's a guarantee, but when Alpha 7 is second last day, come in with not just a double chicken dinner, but massive elimination points backing it, it's hard to see anybody else taking them down. We've given a lot of credit to Vivo Key. We've given a lot of credit to Influence Rage in their own ways. But when push comes to shove, the most aggressive team in the lobby, the most controlling team in the lobby for the majority of the games has been Alpha 7, and they're making a count right here, right now. Just that simple thing, the spread on that north, it's just hard to be stopped.
And that timing, especially where they decided to actually commit to the circle when Vivo Key was taking that fight. If that was the intention behind that play, which is, we are hearing the gunshots that are happening right now between ESTORM and Vivo Key. We know they're not ready to go for that play. Now it's time for us to push into circle, get ourselves into position to defend later on, to make sure that no teams can actually harass our position in the first place. And Revo in particular got in the best position you could ask for. He had all of the angles on the teams down below, especially onto LOTUS to close it off. And got himself what I think he was a double knock at the very end there. So amazing, amazing things that we're seeing on a consistent basis from Alpha 7. 15 eliminations, 15 placement points, of course, due to that chicken dinner, 30 points in this one. And normally, no 30-point games are a rare occurrence. You don't see them happen every single time, but for Alpha 7 is like, oh yeah, just a normal game for us. We're used to this. We're used to this by now. We're just getting 30 points every single time almost.
Influence Rage, this was their last game of the day, and it certainly was a decent one. They had 3 back-to-back really good results, 16, 12, and now 13. But is it the tournament-winning game, right? Are they the tournament-winning performances? Ultimately, fortunately, as much as I credit their consistency, they haven't been tournament-winning performances. Alpha 7, in the 3 games that they played, 3 games, we've gotten 2 chicken dinners and a total of 68 points. With VIVO keyed, 40 points in 3 games. It's just Alpha 7 being the Alpha 7 team that they really have proven reputation-wise to show over the last year and a bit. And it's just like they came into today and we're like, okay, we're turning the notch up to 11. Let's do this, guys. And that's what we're seeing right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, I mean, currently for today's games, right, Imperium, they have above a 20-point average per game over the course of 3 games, which is absolutely nuts. We still got 1 more game remaining, and they're going to play once again. Can I make themselves can I make history in the Americas Elite League and get himself 3 chicken dinners out of the 4 games played so far? That would be a statement that they will be making in this tournament. Hopefully that will be the case. We'll see how things are going to go as we head on over to the last Wrangle of the day for day 7 here of the Americas Elite League Season 3. Though 15 eliminations as mentioned earlier, and a little bit more utility this time around from these guys. 10 nades and also 15 smokes. So I think most of those were used in like the early mid-game period where they were having a little bit of back and forth with some teams, but they didn't even really use an insane amount of smoke to get himself in position because their timing and their map awareness was so good at the very end. They just minimal amount of smokes was enough to get in that position, especially for Revo, to put a nail in the coffin for all the teams around them. So you've got it done. And there you have it. Revo going to be the MVP of this game with 6 eliminations. That's twice today this guy stepped up. So yeah, Senatec is not here anymore, but do they really care about it? I mean, seeing the results doesn't really seem likely.
Yeah, and that's something that, you know, when we talk about Senatec joining Rise, we talked about him joining Rise in a way of just joining a new team. We weren't talking about him leaving Alpha 7 in this whole like oh, is this going to be the downfall of Alpha 7? We saw what would have an effect, but it hasn't been the case. And sometimes, you know, what is not working out for a team anymore, and them, you know, getting rid of that person can be a very refreshing thing. And that's no shade to Senatec, but that's life, and it could be the case for Alpha 7. And the rest of the players feel now a little bit more refreshed that they do have a player gone, that they're able to, within this current roster, focus fully on the game in hand and what they need to do to win, to come out on top.
As a Greek philosopher once said, it is what it is, and you got to deal with the consequences apparently of how things go out. It's very famous, you know, Socrates and everyone. You know, it's kind of stuff what they were dealing with back in the days in Pyramid Cake.
Yes.
Got to keep up. Yes. Got to keep up. Mapios are going to be top healing of that game. I mean, I don't know why I even mentioned the top healing. We don't really care too much about the stats on the second page. We're pretty much used to it. We've seen a bunch of Alpha 7 players, Revo, Carrillo being up there. Always good to see. But you know what's also good to know is the fact that we are not done for today. We still got 1 more game remaining. It's going to be on the grassy pastures. Imperium, get it right, grassy pastures. Kalaris would be proud of this last game of the day. So we'll be back right after this short break.
Hello? Vous êtes bien chez Julien Fournier. Love is magic. Metaverse is amazing.
Four games done and dusted already in the bag, and one more game remains before we do close off day 7 here of the Americas Elite League Season 3. Man, yeah, Brazil running away with it. I would love to have an NA chicken dinner to close things off. We had one from Nova. I have some hope, but NA has not been the dominant force that I would have liked to see at the start. So yeah, it's a rough time for the NA squad here.
Well, there's still another game for it to happen for Nova. They're going to be playing in this final game, as we do see Group E not participating. That means Influence Rage, INTZ, Team QUESO, and LAZARUS are done for the evening. Of course, XSET as well, who have generally had an improvement or a rise up in the amount of points they've been able to gather, once again have an opportunity to climb up the standings and grab a good couple of points for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, points are prizes, as you like to. I think that's the sentence that I always remember from the Imperial.
Yep,
like prizes all the time. I think on what's the sentence you put on, like on the tombstone? I keep forgetting. Like what's that called?
Rest in pepperoni.
No, but it's like it has an epitaph, like something like that. I'm not sure exactly. Like I think we're gonna have law percentages, and also we're gonna be having that sentence on top of it, because I think it's so quotable. Imperium, you're so quotable as a man. It's insane.
Oh my god. Yes, no, I could have died due to law of percentages.
Law of percentages was not on my side.
Law of percentages. is the cause of his death. 0% chance of living, therefore he died. You know, that's it.
Yeah.
That went really dark. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I brought up the topic, you know what, fair enough, but I'm hoping they're not going to have to say what we're going to write on the tombstones of any of these players anytime soon, because you do not want to die in the early game. That's something you want to avoid at all costs, especially if you're on an 18, because if you die at this stage, the early parts of this last game of the day, I'm going to be very, 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 very sad. No, angry. I was going to be like, no, I didn't want to see it happen. That's what I'm trying to vehicle right now as my point.
That's
so please, I would like to see some
I definitely get that. Cool.
Thank you.
I'm down for it.
Yeah.
They're listening. They hear you. They're gonna do just for you. I just want to say, Max, this playing path is pretty sexy, to be honest. Like it's straight down the middle, from south to north, a tiny bit diagonal. It's a sweet looking playing path.
If you say so. No, you're into what you want in Pyramid. There's no we do not judge here.
You know,
America's Elite League. No?
It allows everybody to drop pretty much where they want to, and I enjoy that. I love when teams are able to generally get to where they want to, and hopefully it creates positive spreads of teams and we don't have players getting caught out per se. Of course, it can make it difficult to track pathing lines per se, or kind of clusters of teams together. But yeah, I do like this kind of playing path as phase 1 pops up. The northeast phase 1.
Yeah, this playing path actually leans really well into this phase 1 circle, so they work hand in hand. Pretty nice to see. INCO going to be going for the very wide split up northeast towards Stolber, so in terms of loot and in terms of competition early game, there shouldn't be too much issue, and the loot should be at an all-time high, so they should be pretty prepared and raring to go for the first team they're going to be encountering later on. And that, yeah, is going to be more of the Melter position I'm looking at right now. We're going to be having Honored Souls versus, I believe that is XSET. Yeah, that is XSET. We might have a little bit of back and forth. Hopefully not. I mean, they're both on 2 cardinal positions on north and east of that position in Melter. Yeah. So if they want to avoid that fight, there's a possibility. But by seeing how Honored Souls are positioned, it makes me think that they're looking for off angles. They're looking for sneaky elimination here and there. So XSET got to be very wary, because currently a lot of eyes are looking their direction, especially ATON also, that are going right behind them. So it's a little bit of an early pinch. Well, it's a little bit of a wide pinch, but it is something that can be an issue if they're not aware of their surroundings.
Well, XSET normally drop a Milter, so I look at them as kind of encroaching on Honored Souls' space. Just like if you trespass on a farmer's land, it does come with its own risks. So hopefully XSET do not suffer any kind of negative fate, and they're able to continue to play into this phase 1 as a full squad. Alpha 7 went on to North George. Lotus have dropped into Severny because North George is taken by Alpha 7. It's a very simple adjustment of your drop spot. And BULUC have a pretty solid spread inside this phase 1 right off the bat. 2 in Rozhok, 1 on the north of the river, and 1 down towards the south of Yasnaya. For the start of the game, it's again just a good way for BULUC to set up a strong position inside phase 1.
It's insane to me to think that in terms of survival time, we saw these stats there of Alpha 7 for a split second. They are only 13th in survival time. And
that kind of
I
makes
find
sense.
That to be... Okay, tell me, how does that make sense?
Because although their performances have been incredible when they've been incredible, it's why I kind of worried about if they had the metal in the moment for the last couple of days, because of the volatility of their performance. Plus, if you look at the amount of elimination points they have, you don't need to survive a long amount of time to get a lot of eliminations. They're an aggressive team, so that does come with its risks. So when they go down swinging. So I'm not surprised that they have a lower than expected survival time in the rankings.
I am actually very surprised by the fact that they are 13th out of 20 teams in survival time, and they are so high in the ranking. Like, if they were like 5th, 6th, or 7th, I'd be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, fair enough. Like, they're all a lot of teams that's very focused on eliminations, but to that extent, where they're actually 13th in overall survival time compared to other teams, out of a 20-team lobby, I'm like, hey, that's pretty impressive. But after they're first in damage, they're first in kills, so you know what? It adds up over time when you get yourself almost 200 eliminations, by the way. I think they were, what, like 7 eliminations away from 200? And seeing the consistency of Alpha 7 throughout today with that back-to-back chicken dinner and getting themselves so many eliminations on a per-game basis, I think this is the one where they're going to beat 200 eliminations already. I think this is the one where it's going to be happening. Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised. Boy, for Nova, he's on his own. He's going to get sandwiched by Loops. Don't know exactly what happened there. Okay. I know what's happened there. Nova have gone for a very surprising deep push into the center of the circle, but only as 2 players. That's really weird. Like, really weird. Like, so weird. I get maybe going deep in the circle as a solo player to kind of get a good bit of information, but as 2 players, it's really wasteful and it's kind of pointless. And now it leaves with the 2 players that are left in a really tricky position. And it's going to be so much harder for Nova to get a competent result from this game, unfortunately.
I think they were moving in to potentially get control of Alamo, which I think in the circle is really, really good position. I think that was the idea. But yeah, unfortunately, a little bit unaware of Loops. Yeah. No, I agree. I think I'm just trying to hopefully try and predict what the play was, and I think that Alamo maybe was the goal for them there. To work out. There's the fight that's going to be happening. I think we got the Chosen. Yeah, the Chosen versus, I think that's Rise. And so far, 1 elimination. So there's a little bit of fight left in them, but really good nade. They're going to be putting First Frost down to about 1/3 HP. And this is the full-on breach from the Chosen. In the past, this is the fight that Rise win pretty much every single time. Off out on the off angle. That's it. Rise able to peek with their last player right above the side of that building. It's down to a 1v1. First Frost in the engage. And the first aid. I think you heard the first aid. Jumps out. He didn't finish the first aid. I don't know if that was a mistiming or something, but Rise get it done, and he's going to get Garrick's and Mafasar back up. Unfortunately, using Mythic, but I mean, yeah, Rise, they win it for a reason. Why? Because they are so damn good.
Yeah, really good awareness by Rafina too. I don't know if he fully heard the first aid being pulled off by the last player of the Chosen, but I think it was also calculated. If anything, it was as much of a calculated, I think he's going for a revive, he's going for a heal, as it was I hear the heal being pulled off, and Rafina just went for a great execution, and they keep themselves up as a 3-person team. It's interesting that this fight has evolved from pure apartments and school to outside of school and apartments. That's just an observation, but there's a reason why Rise have won most of the time, and there's a reason why Rise are up where they are in the leaderboard.
Yeah, we saw the stats of Rise there for a quick second. They're 145 in top 3 in terms of fragging power. That's about a 50 elimination difference between 3rd and 1st. So it goes to show how much of a difference there is in terms of elimination power. For Alpha 7, there you go. It's going to be Trigger. Looking on the side, being a little bit of a ninja right now. Thought it was going to work out, but no. That could have been a double whammy almost, but it was just not meant to be for Trigger. That's it for him. 2 teams already were eliminated at the start of this game, but QZ with a good angle. The timing, he waits. He times it out with his teammate to go for the spray at the exact same time to give very little amount of chance on the opposing side to actually survive it, and that's it, as Honor of the Soul suffer the wrath of Nova as they get vengeance for both Kindness and Koi in this game.
We could be looking at a Starbar finish. Just saying. Phase 2 is shifted pretty heavily up north. Like, pretty heavily up north. I really love Lotus Esports' position. I think it's a great control of the compound that's north of the river. You have the tadpole that pole position that gives a lot of information to the south of the river. Of course, with a lot of teams possibly heading in that direction, it will require good proactivity from Lotus. I hope they're able to pull it off. BULUC sending a couple of players there, but ESTORM and Rise, they're also in the mix and they might take each other out.
Could be a big issue here. Alpha 7 looking to move out with VIVO key towards a more central position in the circle. There are like two really good spots other than the high ground of Stolber, or the edge of Stolber, that are really valuable. You've got Rise aiming for that position. BULUC, CHABTAN, ESTORM. Also, I believe LOTUS is going in that position exactly. And I think LOTUS is going to have the exact position I was thinking of currently under control. There's only Kiyoshi currently there. I'm hoping to see a little bit more urgency to get the entire team there, because if a breach happens, you do not want to lose what could be the most valuable position in the entirety of this last game here for this day 7. So yeah, I want to see that happen, but they're not regrouping, and that's one player lost for little to no reason. Lotus, I want to see you guys stick together, please. You have a good position. Plays out the 4-man.
If it was other teams, I would believe that they could hold on to that spread, like a team like Nova, for example. But unfortunately, Lotus, as of right now, they're just not developed enough as a team to hold massive spreads. They bit off more than they could chew, and they low-key pay the price. They're doing what you wanted now and sending the other two players into the compound. But it's unfortunately at the cost of losing a player, which probably didn't need to be the case.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. Hopefully they can learn from that and move on into day 8 with a little bit of a better prospect. But you know what, I'm already jumping the gun here. I'm saying day 8, you know what, they're not done. Still got 3 players. Still a chance for the NA hope to get himself a chicken dinner to close things off here on day 7. Would be great. Other than that, now about 50% closed up for this next phase 2 circle. Phase 3 is going to be a big teller as to how things are potentially going to pan out for a lot of these teams. But yeah, XSET going to have to smoke it up here if you want to try and escape. And they only got the bike, so they can't even pick up everyone here. I think we might unfortunately lose a player for XSET if they're not careful enough. It's currently locked in that position.
Look at Black Dragons sending one player flanking around to the side.
Ooh, I don't know what I think about that one. Like, you're not into the circle. A lot of teams already going straight center. I think that there's a sense of urgency. They should just both try and leave. I think this is what Black Dragons are trying to do. But XSET going back and forth, hesitant as a. Oh, okay. This is for you, Imperium. This is yours.
Yes, let's go. Phase 3 shifting up towards Stalbar. INCO already there. Now, of course, Phase 4 could continue to, let's say, shift in one direction. So we have either a west or an east to Stalbar finish. But for the time being, you have the big mountain range to the west. BULUC, Delta Stars, Nova, and then INCO right at the tippity top of the mountain. But guess what, Max? We're only halfway there because we're only 50 minutes into the game.
Ooh, Dr. Disrespect will feel good about that one, I can tell you that much. So, yeah, a lot of teams going to go for the tippity top of the mountain. One of those going to be joining up is going to be Delta Stars, though. Do they have it in them to defend?
Oh, wow.
Little high ground position. Ooh, seems like INCO Gaming do, though. Really good first.
No way.
Whoa! Romulazin, that was a really good way to initiate, but where's the team? Where's the squad? Unfortunately, nowhere to be seen. There's no follow-up on that one, and I believe we might be able to see the res coming out on BULUC CHABTAN.
INCO just unfortunately didn't seem fully set up for defense. I don't think most teams would expect the Stalbar shift on Phase 3, but INCO were there on Phase 2, so if they're there on Phase 2, they should be set up as if it's going to be there on Phase 3. They didn't, and they kind of got a little bit caught out as Lotus are against VIVO keyed.
There we go. That's a big fight here to enter into the western side, play around those plateau areas. There's a lot more flat terrain on the western side of Stolber itself when it comes to the high ground position, so that entry point could be super, super valuable if played right. But Lotus, unfortunately, as maybe expected initially to enter into that fight, VIVO Key were kind of going to come out on top. Did they lose any players? Actually, no. They still has a 4-man crew and take little to no damage in that entire skirmish. So VIVO Key doing VIVO Key things. So now looking for how are we going to approach this circle. Do we play edge wait for the circle to shift to make a decision based on that, or do we try and center up really quickly? I think it's a little bit too late for that for VIVO Kid, and there's a big lack of information. So playing edge might be the strat, but not for XSET, as they are dead center here, trying to defend their own territory towards Stolber. Taking a fight towards Rise. XSET having a little bit of back and forth fight, but XSET standing their ground.
Yeah, only one player knocked. The only way they will really massively lose this fight is if Loops decide the third party. That could be the case. 8-on-7 have such a good spread on that eastern side of Stalbar. Yeah, it may not be the full grabbing information on the higher ground of Stalbar, but they don't need to. It's a little bit similar with Alpha 7 on the north. They have a beautiful spread as we're getting into the next shift. VIVO Kid, they play the movement of hanging on to the edge, and they're rewarded with a position inside this phase 4. An unexpected northern shift, by the way. I was not thinking it would go to the north.
Yeah, I think this is a circle that I would almost want to say never casted a circle that ends north Stolber. South Stolber, yes. West Stolber, yes. East Stolber never happened.
Yeah.
North Stolber also never happened for me. So, man, this is a rare occurrence, and teams are going to have to learn this one the hard way. There's going to be the fight happening. Mafioso going for the spray. There's an off angle we've got to be aware of. He was trying to go for the engage, but unfortunately it does end up going a little bit too short for him. XSET also looking for their engage. They hit a nade on the play of Rise earlier. Feels good to hit nades on enemies instead of allies, right? Feels way better. But can they actually go the entire way versus BULUC, CHABTAN, and Rise? That is definitely the big question mark of this fight currently on Stolber itself. Is it going to be a third party of Delta Stars? They were in the shadows, lurking, waiting for that time to strike, and they might be able to get himself a few eliminations here and there. But here you go, Rafina and Garrick ready to go for the push onto BULUC, CHABTAN. BULUC, CHABTAN going to heal up on the other side for Alien Kid. XSET, oh no, the smokes are dissipating. Rafina, you're open. Your coverage has been now lost, but the focus of XSET is now to BULUC, CHABTAN instead. They know that Rise is still inside the buildings. Ooh, they don't know, I think.
Just look at Delta Stars. They're in the backline. They're going to look to fourth party this fight.
Oh, you sneaky devil. He just got himself inside the car. Peeked right above the roof of it, and he got the elimination. Rise down to a new Rafina alone. Rafina, just stay put. Do not push out. You're hearing that team coming in from the other angle. That is Delta Stars ringing the horn, calling out for the follow-up. See if Rafina might be able to just make the most out of that third party. What a nade from Fragger. Kill switch. Got himself one earlier. Ooh, not the best nade in the books, but doesn't see him. Doesn't see him. Oh, okay, he sees him. He sees him. I can tell it's a fact. He sees him because he's dead. Now Rafina not moving, and Delta Stars getting a little bit too comfortable. Rafina, don't even take the fight if you can avoid it. Just let them move away on the next circle shift and then get the high ground advantage. That is the play that Rafina should aim for.
It was great opportunistic fourth partying from Delta Stars. I think they could have pulled it off by 5 to 10 seconds earlier if I wanted to be a little bit nitpicky. Otherwise, for a team that are known to be a little bit more passive, great play, but Revo with the double turn, the flick from one side to the other. He makes it look so damn easy.
I don't like to swear on broadcast, but what the fuck was that? My man just went in a position where he normally was going to get absolutely wrecked. And he just peeks around, gets one, while also having to play at the high ground advantage, and instantly swifts over to him and gets it done. Revo, what the hell was that? There you go. Goes for the push once more. Go for the final player. VIVO Kid. Oh, no, does not go the entire way. Still a really good attempt. Still got his teammates there, ready to back it up potentially. It's going to be Carrillo, but close enough, so that's going to be it for his life. VIVO Kid now going to be closed. The gap is going to be ESTORM looking for the fight. They're feeling confident. They have some good games today, Imperium. ESTORM want to go a little bit further.
Yes, they do indeed. Diego's gonna get knocked. ESTORM looking for blood, and down they go. They did go down with 7 elimination points. That's pretty positive. Alpha 7, not so much. That means Influence Rage, they love the fact that the two other teams fighting for first went down so early.
Oh man, you can see the awkwardness. Like, wait, you're still here? Like, well, I guess. Well, well, no, he's gone. And there you go, Delta Stars defend it. Rafina's out. Rise only get himself a few eliminations this game.
Whoa, the circle shifted back down south. we're looking at like a tippy top of stall bar finish. We're looking at a direct stall bar finish if the next phase either centers up or goes down south. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll see who's going to be able to make it over to the tippity top of the mountain, though. Here we go, the push on the final player. Oh, it's not even the final. Where's the other player? Oh, he left. Okay, it's going to be Fair and Walls. They're just on the other side completely of that fight. Let's see how far he's going to be able to go, though. Wall's going to be pushing straight back down into the fight, to the thick of it all. No, we still have two more players. It's going to be Fair and Walls. They go nice trying the defense, but no. Talons defending this position tooth and nail, and Walls wants nothing to do with Black Dragons anymore. He's going to be avoiding that 1v1 like the plague, trying to push his way into the high ground position of Stolber, which is, you know what, a good plan at hand here.
Yeah, it just unfortunately feels like ESTORM got a little bit miscommunicated on that. I felt like they should have stood their ground and taken a full-on fight against Black Dragons, and they probably would have won, but one was looking to disengage, then maybe another, then one turned around, and it was just a little bit miscommunicated, I would say. Fortunately, as ESTORM have had a pretty good game and overall a pretty good day across day 7 of the America's League. Loops 8-on-7. They hold on to the Eastern. Well, at the start, they're still inside the buildings of Stolbar.
Yeah, Delta Stars, that's going to be their play. They're going to full commit to it, which could be a blessing in disguise, or it could be a curse in disguise. I don't know. That's the curse in disguise is just me on Halloween day, so I don't know what to tell you about that. But anyways, Wall's still waiting. Saw the information on that one play of Black Dragons, while ATON are just moving, crashing around, looking for that info. Man, NA teams, unfortunately, nowhere to be seen on this finish. I'm sad, Imperium. I'm sad.
I'm sad, but I'm also happy because we're looking to get a Starbar finish as it shifts down towards the southwest. Hey ho, let's go. The compound held on to Delta Stars is still in play. 8-on-7, I think they've been overall very proactive in trying to find positions inside the circle as we're looking at 1v1, and oh my lord.
Okay, we got to calm down. My boy Chief ain't asking for nothing. Let's get himself a knockout. He's trying to make it worthwhile his time versus ATON. Milos, a really strong angle here. Is going to be making it really hard for the other player of Loops to actually get fully involved. I saw that nade right behind Inhibit. No knock though. The second.
Oh my god.
How is that allowed? How do you survive that Inhibit? And he goes for the first AK. He's got 4, so can still remain pretty damn healthy. Now it's going to be the 1v1 happening between Black Dragons and ESTORM. Going to reload though. 40 bullets. Boom, peeking around the side. And Talents defending it tooth and nail, and there's not much can do against the high ground advantage and the defense behind that rock from Walls. He gets it done, goes for the first aid, now is ready to move in circle.
Good effort, Talents. Your back was against the wall. It's the best he could do, then push up, and he went for it. In the end, ESTORM will come out on top as Loops are looking to defend their spot against 8-on-7, but it's 2v3.
2v3, let's go, Loops. Man, if you win that fight pushing like this, I would be surprised. Yeah, I was about to say, there's no way that works out versus ATON.
Yeah.
Cool. Now you should be counting your points. You already got yourself 6 eliminations. This is a good game. You make it in top 4. This is a very good game. If you can push out, that's big. But, well, I tried to hype it up, but seems like it was just not meant to be. And now that that team is eliminated, the focus of ATON is now instantly drifted over to the compound of Starboard, to this one building where the smokes are going wide, where Delta Stars want to defend it. Are these Delta Star smokes? Are these Delta Star smokes? I think they are. Why would you smoke it up?
God.
You're losing information. You're losing angles.
Yeah.
And ATON is just going to nade in the smokes. And that's it. That's one easy knockdown onto Epinol. I do not get those smokes. That is a waste of utility.
Not necessarily a waste of utility, but it's a free entry point for 8-on-7. Like, look at that. Fran has just made it across. He's breached into the compound, and there's nothing Delta Stars can do. The revive comes out, but the damage is done. The breach is made.
Seemed like they wanted to play like Lee Sin of League of Legends, blind until the very end. But Blue Harden, nothing can really do there. Peeked around the corner almost instantly. Escanor is going to be the only final shot of Delta Stars to maybe suffer the wrath of this team. He tries to go outside at the same time, but no, ATON 8, having nothing of it. Still 9 eliminations. Good to see that coming out from Delta Stars, a little bit more fight in them, but now it's down to the 2 final teams. It's Walls of ESTORM versus 4 players. And yeah, as a circle, you know what? Good for him, but is it going to help too much in this type of finish? I doubt so, Imperium. I really doubt.
Were those, I'm still trying to think, were those actually Delta Star smokes? Were they ATON 7 smokes?
I'm not sure, but there you go. They got the information and know where Walls currently stands. He peeks around, and he's just surrounded by foes. ATON secure himself chicken dinner number 5 of day 7 here for the Americas Elite League.
Yeah, good stuff from ATON 7. It was a relatively quiet game for the most part. They hung on to that Eastern edge. Just again, that massive spread they had, yeah, it wasn't heavily challenged, but it feels like they were set up to get information on any potential challenge that came their way, and that's why when they did decide to push on the loops, because they had the spread, I think they were absolutely certain that, for example, their backs were covered, so they could put everything into that fight against loops. For example, look at Milos in the back line initially. He was holding on to that defense, making sure that ATON 7 didn't get third-partied. So that was so good.
I want to see if we're going to have a flyby view of that fight happening in the compound, and if the smokes actually were from Delta Stars or ATON. If they're from ATON, they're really good. If they're from Delta Stars, they're really not good. We'll see. Of course, Wolves able to win himself that fight versus Talents. Talents, yeah, as you said earlier, Imperium didn't have too much of a chance to really make it work out, but yeah, I cannot see the arc of the smokes from ATON's side. I cannot see it. So it makes me feel pretty confident in saying those are Delta Star smokes. Yeah, and then of course ATON just sending it. They're like, yeah, this is a 4v1. Let's just roll out, get the info. The moment we spot him, we just go crash inside, get the elimination. Lucky doesn't need any backup support to make that play happen. And they secure himself 25 points. 10 eliminations this game, ATON. You know what? They have some up and downs, but this in particular is an absolute banger for them. I just wish we could see more of it.
And as I alluded to, Influence Rage will look at the results of that game and laugh and be relieved because Alpha 7 only got 3 points. Vivo Keyed, okay, it's still a good result, but it was kind of damage limitations because compared to what Vivo Key can do, it was only 9 points. So that's really positive, and I'm super excited to see what the overall standings are going to look like coming into tomorrow's games. ESTORM, I continue to be impressed. I'm looking out at them. I'm noticing change. I'm noticing an evolution, and that's one thing I will always commend for, right? A team that shows something and shows an evolution from day one to the final day of a tournament wins in my eyes, because sometimes the biggest competition isn't the teams that you're going up against, it's yourself. So if you can technically beat yourself by getting a better result than you did in the previous game in the previous day, then you're on the right path, because you can't control how other teams do. You can only control how you play, how you succeed. So I think ESTORM showing that over the last couple of days is a big win in my eyes.
That's so deep, Imperium. I'm 14 and this is deep. Oh my god, I got tears coming up my eyes. But that's true. You've got to be careful. I don't know if I would say the strats really changed for them. It's all strats change and it's working really well, but I have the impression in general they just look a lot more confident in the way they approach these fights, approach these positions. So I really enjoy it. I hope that ESTORM can remain on that type of standard now. I hope this can be their new normal from here on out. Though, this is it for the stats of ATON on this game in particular. Once again, as we mentioned earlier, 10 eliminations was almost just shy of 2,000 damage on top of that one, but a really good amount of usage of smokes and grenades, able to clear that space entering the side of Stolber. We don't see these type of circles very often in Stolber itself, but when they do happen, it can be a pretty tricky nut to crack. And you know what? An absolute nutcrackers. That's the name of ATON. Maybe not. Maybe I'm not going to call them that, but you get the point. So they were able to play around this circle and this finish very, very well. Still has a 4-man crew too, so that's definitely not something to be sniffed at. ATON. At the start of the day, I'm not sure exactly where they were at the start of the day in terms of position. ATON were in the 15th. So this is definitely going to help them climb up. Hopefully, at the end of this tournament, push himself just barely on the top 8.
Yeah, and that's why ESTORM's results are so good for them climbing up, because they were coming into today's games in 13th, and they've had a 19-point game, I think 2 19-point games, a 5-point game and a 2-point game. So that's been a good 40+ point day for them, which is an average of 10+ points per game. That's what the kind of top teams are doing. I know it's only one day, but that's still a really positive rise for ESTORM, and that should see them in some way jump up, possibly into the top 10.
Yeah, very clear possibility of that happening. We'll have to see, of course, how day 8 is going to go down for these teams, though. The MVP of this game is going to be Rafino, which was left stranded inside their building, was Delta Stars. Got a little bit awkward at one point. I thought he could get himself the double, but wasn't quite meant to be, apparently, at the very end. And then looking on to the second one, Talent's going for the top heal, which is not surprising after taking that fight versus ESTORM. Tried to heal off a little bit. Maybe the teams in the circle would forget about him, but that was just not supposed to happen. And it was ESTORM that had the final laugh there, Walls in particular. Yeah, but otherwise, really good day. I think we kept on talking about this every single day, going from one day to another, right, Imperium, about how we have the impression the lobby is improving on a day-per-day basis. And I think today in particular is a very good example of that. Of course, the top team still dominating as expected from those guys, but we saw some teams that we questioned at the start of the tournament, like, for example, ESTORM we mentioned, have been able to step up big time. So I gotta say, just as a whole, big up to a lot of the teams in the lobby, because being able to improve on such a small amount of time in such a small amount of games is not an easy task at hand, but a lot of them have been able to make it happen. So there's a lot of hope for all of these teams to have a very big impact in the future of PUBG Mobile Esports.
Exactly, and we've alluded to it before, and we'll continue to say this is just the start of the 2022 esports ecosystem. You're going to have 2 PMPLs, spring split, fall split. You're going to have mid-seasonal events. You have these third-party events. There's so many opportunities for all of these teams, for all of these players to evolve, grow, get better, and of course, the end goal being PMGC at the end of the year. So big stuff indeed. As Fraggers is your MVP, I believe MVP of the day, or is it the game, just in terms of 6 eliminations? That's really good. Like Delta Stars, I think it's their very first game having an individual player in the top fragger list of a game. That's really positive.
I was about to say, I don't think you would be MVP of the day if you had only 6 eliminations. You know how good Alpha 7 were. But you know what? Hey, it's good to dream. Good to dream. So, but yeah, Frag is going to be up in terms of top damage, top eliminations, and close with Rafino, get himself 5. Lucky of ATON was 4. And then McGrellin of VIVO Kid was 3. VIVO Kid had a very good attempt this game. It got a little bit tricky, but in particular, when I'm looking back on these games, man, I still cannot believe that Revo of Alpha 7 was able to get away with that 1v2 he picked up North Stolber. Like, that was one of the most insane plays of the day in my mind. Like, that was absolute insanity.
Yeah, it's something that, on a side note, thank you observers for just luckily capturing, because that could have been missed in the blink of an eye, right? You know, half a second, 2 seconds later, and that wouldn't have been witnessed. But we got to see it, you got to react, we got to just revel in the beauty of Revo's reactions. And like I said, the spectator mode doesn't do justice of just how much skill is involved in pulling out those kind of plays, and that's why we continue to, as much as possible, give credit to so many of these players and so many of these teams.
Yeah, but you know what? With that said, Imperium, it is time for us to now look at the overall rankings, see how things have potentially shifted up or down for some of these teams, because I think some big changes might have happened, except for the top 5, which I think are still pretty much set in stone, and we're going to be able to see top 5 who's up there. Of course, it's Influence Rage, Alpha 7, Vivo Kid, Nova, and of course also Rise Esports, with INCO Gaming with very little to no chance to actually make their dream become reality of making it in top 5, but the top 5 still remain absolutely dominant.
So, if, and I say this, if Vivo Kid have a horrible day tomorrow, yeah, Nova Esports can make it into top 3. Let's be fair, let's give them credit for that. Big time.
Yeah.
But Vivo Kid have been one of the most consistent teams in the tournament, so that's hard to really picture too much. but mathematically, point speaking, it's very possible for Nova to break into the top 3.
Yeah, there's a very clear chance of that happening, but you need to have a bad day from VIVO Keed in particular, which, are they going to have a bad day tomorrow? From what we've seen today, it seems very, very unlikely, but you never know. The stars could align for Nova Esports to actually make it in top 3 and be the sole representative of NA in the top 5. XSET not too far off, currently in 7th, respect to the guys, but other than that, NA teams are having a struggle towards the bottom with LOTUS and Chosen in 19th and 20th, respectively. Other than that, teams that have been able to step up, we mentioned a few. ATON started off today in what I think was 15th. A little bit of a step up here, able to get himself 2 extra placements. And now they were able to actually close that gap. 184 compared to BULUC CHABTAN in 10th was 194. That's not even a chicken dinner. That's like a decent game. And ATON could find himself onto the front page. So I would love to see ATON make the final push to actually breach top 10 on the final day.
Yeah, definitely in ESTORM as well. I said that they might have broken into the top 10. I wasn't sure, but they are 11th. Only 3 points behind BULUC in that 10th place. We have to end at least talking about that top 3 and how close it is. 13 points divide the top 3. That's less than a chicken dinner. That's really nothing over what will be the 4 games for each of these teams in tomorrow's final day.
And out of our top 5 players of the day, we're going to have 3 of those from Alpha 7, 1 from INCO, and also 1 from Rise. So Brazil pretty dominant when it comes to this top 5. Rafina also gave himself some good moments of greatness, especially on that last game on stall but finish. But Revo got himself 2 MVPs on a single game on those 2 chicken dinners for his team. So yeah, Revo definitely making a case for himself that he is not someone you want to mess with. I will definitely avoid doing so, and you should do exactly that. But yeah, with that said, we are just about done with the broadcast for today, ladies and gentlemen, and what a day it has been. But one thing is for sure, Brazil is on point to dominate not only the Americas Elite League, right, Imperium, but PMPL Brazil, I believe, is just around the corner. I'm not sure of the exact starting time for that one, but you have yourself VIVO Kid, you have Influence Rage, you have yourself Rise, you have Alpha 7 in PMPL Brazil. Yeah, I think it's a fair statement to say that they are going to dominate from start to finish that event.
Yes and no. Of course it looks that way, but to give you a little bit of an example of why they shouldn't take it for granted, Indonesia as a region has been at the kind of top of PUBG Mobile for a number of years, of course mainly through one team, BTR, but we have seen the likes of Genesis Dogma, for example, rise up from that region. We had no Indonesian team in the PMGC finals, right? So it's just that kind of like, as much as I see where you're coming from, it shouldn't be that kind of like presumption from those teams. It shouldn't be that, okay, yeah, we're gonna breeze through it. Respect the teams around you, respect that's going to be a tough job, and don't take it for granted. Otherwise, let the action unfold throughout 2022.
Yeah, but though we're going to be having to stop the action for now, today is now over. That is it, ladies and gentlemen, for Day 7 here of the Americas Elite League Season 3. But pretty lucky to have one more day to go. That's going to be tomorrow, but not at the same time. Tomorrow's show is going to be at 2 p.m. BRST, which is Brazil local time. So if you want to make sure you can use those online converters if you want to get it in your local time zone, because I'm not good at doing online conversion in my head. I am not smart enough for that, so do it yourself. With that said, thanks so much, ladies and gentlemen, for checking out today's broadcast. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you the ongoing action for today. Imperium, as always, a pleasure to work with you, to bring you the action, bring the viewers the action with you. That's how it goes. Otherwise, I'll be casting for you, and I don't think that's how it goes. But yeah, I don't know. Anything to add before we jump into Day 8 here of the Americas Elite League?
I can't wait for tomorrow. Check it out. Tell your mothers, tell your fathers, tell your grandma, tell your dog, tell everybody. Day 8, it's going to be a hell of a day.
Also tell your girlfriend. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, well, that's going to be it. Thanks so much for checking out the broadcast. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Once again, that is 2 p.m. BRST. Be there, be square.